Chapter 27:30. Didn't you say that you wanted to show me your strength? Is this all you've got? Lu Ming looked at Hu Ya in disdain, his voice filled with mockery. I don't believe that I will lose to an empty god with my true god realm cultivation. Tiger's roar, tear him apart. Hu Ya's eyes turned red as he roared. Divine force surged from his body, causing his body to swell up. Roar. A tiger's roar shook the entire place. Hu Ya turned into a half-human, half-tiger being. He stomped his feet and pounced towards Lu Ming like a gust of wind. This was the secret technique of the tiger tribe. Once it was unleashed, one's strength would increase. Many special tribes had their own secret techniques. Only that tribe could unleash the secret techniques, and they were all different. This was something that the human tribe could not compare to. Lu Ming became more serious as he stood up. A long spear appeared in his hand and he swept it out. Boom! A huge spear radiance swept towards Hu Ya. Tear him apart. Hu Ya roared. His fingernails were as sharp as blades as he continuously clawed out. The sky was filled with claw imprints as they clawed towards the spear light. Bam! 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 In an instant, the two of them had clashed dozens of times. Hu Ya's face changed drastically as he grunted and his body flew backwards. In midair, blood spurted out from his mouth. A disciple of the Mystic Academy flew towards the sky and caught Hu Ya before landing on the ground. Hu Ya vomited blood as his aura weakened. He was severely injured and could no longer fight. Weak. Lu Ming spoke nonchalantly, his tone full of disdain. Puff. Hearing Lu Ming's words, Hu Ya vomited another mouthful of blood out of anger. He had always thought that he had lost to Lu Ming during the Qin Tian 13 sex assessment because he had suppressed his cultivation. If he had not suppressed his cultivation, he could have killed Lu Ming with a single finger. He didn't expect that after meeting Lu Ming for several decades, he would be unable to withstand a single blow from Lu Ming. He was easily crushed by Lu Ming. It was really hard for him to accept. Brat, how dare you injure a disciple of the Mystic Academy? How dare you? Let me teach you a lesson. With a roar, a bald young man rushed out from the Mystic Academy. This bald youth exuded an extremely shocking aura. He was a level 4 true god realm genius, and his cultivation was not any weaker than Anhai's. Boom! The bald youth soared into the air. His leg was like a steel whip, sweeping towards Lu Ming. This person's leg technique was extremely impressive. Before the leg arrived, the terrifying force was already pressing towards Lu Ming like an avalanche. Lu Ming swept out with his spear and collided with the bald youth's leg. There was a violent explosion. The bald youth's figure floated backward, and the long spear in Lu Ming's hand, which was condensed from divine power, trembled non-stop and almost collapsed. There's a divine artifact on his leg. Lu Ming squinted his eyes. His opponent was wearing a pair of golden boots, which was a divine artifact. Lu Ming didn't use a divine artifact, so the long spear condensed from divine power almost collapsed. With a thought, a divine artifact long spear appeared in Lu Ming's hand. Heaven stabilizing kick. Heaven stabilizing strike. The bald youth retreated and stabilized himself in the air. Then, he rushed towards Lu Ming. Both of his legs kicked out consecutively. His entire person was like a drill, blasting towards Lu Ming. Sky-piercing. Lu Ming executed the sky-piercing strike. A resplendent spear light collided with the bald youth. Qi energy spread out in all directions, and the bald youth was sent flying back several tens of thousands of meters. His body trembled and he spat out a mouthful of blood. He was injured. How is this possible? The others widened their eyes, unable to believe what they were seeing. Lu Ming actually injured the bald youth. The bald youth was a level 4 true god realm genius. His combat strength wasn't something that Hu Ya could compare with. However, he wasn't a match for Lu Ming. A level 8 empty god realm genius was actually able to suppress a level 4 true god realm genius. What kind of freak was that? Everyone finally knew why Lu Ming could become the leader of the Kongxian school. It was because he had the strength to do so. Previously, Anhai had said loudly that Lu Ming could become the leader of the Kongxian school because he was the strongest. However, no one believed him at that time. They all thought that Anhai was bragging. Now, they knew that what Anhai said was the truth. How is this possible? Hu Ya couldn't believe his own eyes. He was in control of the sacred divine power and considered himself a peerless genius. To him, it was nothing out of the ordinary for him to fight someone of a higher level. However, He now realized that he was nothing compared to Lu Ming. This kid, the leader of the Mystic Academy, narrowed his eyes in shock. Even if it were the remnants of the three overlord forces, none of them would possess such horrifying fighting strength if they were to fight at the same level as them. Interesting, interesting. The ninth prince of the ice spirit race, Bing Qing, said. The genius of the Mystic Academy is only the Lu Ming said indifferently. Kid, don't be arrogant. Let me fight you. Take this. The geniuses of the Hybrid Demon Academy were enraged. Two young men immediately dashed toward Lu Ming and charged toward him. These two young men, their cultivations were shockingly also level 4 true god. The Mystic Academy was indeed one of the three overlords of the Qin Tian star field. They were indeed powerful. They already had 4 level 4 true god realm geniuses. One should know that the only level 4 true god realm geniuses in the Kongxian school were high in the long-faced youth. Of course, there were other geniuses who had cultivated for less than 10,000 years. However, it was enough to show how powerful the Mystic Academy was. The two geniuses at the 4th level of True God Realm attacked Lu Ming fiercely from both sides. Their divine skills had been cultivated to the 3rd level and their powers were very shocking. At the same time, the bald youth also exerted his full strength. He stepped in the air and appeared above Lu Ming. He looked down and stomped his foot down. The three experts teamed up to deal with Lu Ming. At the same time, they unleashed their strongest attacks. Even an ordinary level 5 True God Realm or level 6 True God Realm expert would have to dodge, let alone a level 8 Empty God Realm expert. However, Lu Ming's face was calm. At this moment, his battle intent shot up to the sky. An even stronger force was released from his body. The battle character art had tripled his combat strength. Third strike of destruction, break the sky. With the battle character art tripled his combat strength, Lu Ming unleashed the third strike of destruction. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In the blink of an eye, Lu Ming stabbed his spear out 3 times. The 3 spear shadows shot up from 3 different directions and stabbed towards the 3 young geniuses of the Mystic Academy. Boom, boom, boom. A violent explosion rang out, and it was as if 3 stars had exploded in the sky. You're defeated, Lu Ming roared. As Lu Ming roared, the 3 figures retreated a few thousand meters away. Their bodies were covered in blood. Chapter 2731. Defeated. The 3 Sky Prides from the Mystic Academy were all defeated. Every one of them had a gunshot wound on their chests. The wound was penetrated from the front to the back, and fresh blood was flowing out. The 3 of them were pale and their auras were weak. Their faces were filled with shock. At that moment, they thought that they were going to die. The others were shocked as well. Lu Ming had won in a 1 versus 3 situation. His combat power could no longer be described as shocking. Even Bing Qing, who was experienced and knowledgeable, had a strong sense of shock in her eyes. The people from the other sects gasped. Mystic Academy, is there anyone else who wants to fight? Lu Ming held his gun with one hand and looked at the people from the Mystic Academy. I didn't expect the Kongxian school to have someone like you. All right, I'll fight you today. A cold voice sounded. It was the leader of the Mystic Academy. Just now he had been sitting in his seat, but now he suddenly stood up. Boom! An incomparably terrifying aura burst out from this person's body, and a boundless pressure permeated the void. Plop! Some people actually couldn't withstand this pressure and directly sat down on the ground. The crowd felt as if a mountain was pressing down on them. This aura. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed slightly, revealing a trace of seriousness. The leader of the Mystic Academy was definitely a terrifying person. The leader of the Mystic Academy was a level 5 true god. However, the aura he gave off was much stronger than the other level 4 true gods. Even if Enhai was a level 5 true god, he wouldn't be able to give off such a strong aura. The divine power that this person wielded was of the saint grade. Without a doubt, he was a top-notch Sky Pride. His combat strength wasn't something that Huya could compare with. Huya was only a level 1 true god, but this person was already a level 5 true god. A powerful aura also erupted from Lu Ming's body. His entire being was like a divine spear, showing its sharpness. Boom! Their auras collided in the air, causing a thunderous explosion. The terrifying pressure caused all the seats to tremble, as if they were about to explode at any moment. Many people quickly used their divine power to protect themselves. They knew that once Lu Ming fought with the leader of the Mystic Academy, the destruction would be terrifying. The ninth young lord of the Ice Soul clan suddenly stood up and stepped between Lu Ming and the leader of the Mystic Academy. A chilling aura radiated from his body. This chilling aura was terrifying. It was as if it was going to freeze everything in the world. Lu Ming and the leader of the Mystic Academy's aura seemed to be frozen by this aura. They couldn't help but retract their auras. What terrifying strength! Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. Bing Qing was most likely more powerful than the team leader of the Hybrid Demon Academy. Can the two of you give me some face and let today's matter end here? Bing Qing asked. He didn't stop them before because he wanted to see how strong they were. However, the situation was getting out of hand. If the Kongxian School and the Mystic Academy fought, it would be detrimental to the mission. Therefore, he stood out to stop them. The leader of the Mystic Academy looked at Bing Qing with a serious expression. He couldn't see through Bing Qing's cultivation and it gave him great pressure. Kid, you're lucky today. I hope your luck will continue to be this good. The leader of the Mystic Academy looked coldly at Lu Ming. A murderous intent flashed in his eyes. The Kongxian School had a prodigy like Lu Ming. This made him feel shocked. This person can't be allowed to live. The leader of the Mystic Academy thought. The Kongxian School was the top of the top 10 sections. They had become stronger over the years and were a threat to the three overlords. Therefore, a prodigy like Lu Ming couldn't be allowed to live. Once he grew up, he would be even more terrifying. Lu Ming smiled faintly and returned to his seat. Bing Qing and the others also returned to their seats. Thank you all for coming today. I believe that everyone is curious about the mission this time. Now, I will briefly explain the mission this time. The mission is to go to one of the ancestral grounds of the Ice Spirit Clan and retrieve a treasure called the Ice Jade Heart. The path to the ancestral grounds is guarded by powerful restrictions, especially the age restriction. Only those who are under 10,000 years old can enter. Bing Qing said. Everyone was enlightened. No wonder the sects only sent out prodigies under 10,000 years old. Therefore, with the Ice Spirit Clan's strength, they would ask for help from the other sections. However, the Ice Spirit Clan's prodigies under 10,000 years old were limited. There must be danger in your ancestral grounds. Someone asked. Of course. According to the ancient records, there are desolate beasts inside. Otherwise, why would the Ice Spirit Clan pay such a high price? If you are afraid and don't want to go, you can go back now. The Ice Spirit Clan will send you back. Bing Qing smiled. Everyone was silent. They had already expected that there would be danger. Otherwise, the reward wouldn't be so high. The Kongxian School alone was worth 20,000 points. The other sects gave similar rewards. All right. Since no one wants to back out, we will depart in 3 days. Come, let's drink. Bing Qing said with a smile. Everyone began to toast and drink. After 3 rounds of drinks, everyone left. You guys go back first. I have something to do. Lu Ming said to Enhai and the others. Enhai and the others nodded and left. Soon, only Lu Ming and a few people from the Ice Spirit Clan were left. Brother Lu, do you have something to say? Bing Qing looked at Lu Ming. Yes, I have something to ask the 9th young lord. Lu Ming said. He wanted to ask Bing Qing about the whereabouts of the cold moon stones. If possible, he wanted to buy some. You guys go back first. Bing Qing waved at the people from the Ice Spirit Clan and they left. Brother Lu, what is it? Bing Qing smiled. 9th young lord, Lu Ming wants to ask if the Ice Spirit Clan has any cold moonstones? Lu Ming went straight to the point and asked directly. Cold moonstones. Bing Qing's expression changed slightly. She nodded and said, that's right. The Ice Spirit Clan does have cold moonstones. There is really one. Lu Ming was elated. 9th young lord, can you sell a few cold moonstones to Lu Ming? Lu Ming asked. Sell them to you? I don't think so. The 9th young lord shook his head. You can't sell them? Lu Ming was stunned. That's right. Brother Lu, to tell you the truth, the cold moonstone is an extremely precious treasure in the Ice Soul Clan. Every time one is used, there will only be one left. Even now, the number of cold moonstones in the Ice Soul Clan is extremely small. They are kept in the treasure vault of our clan's big shots. Even I find it extremely difficult to obtain one. Bing Qing smiled bitterly. Chapter 2732. Lu Ming was disappointed. He originally thought that even if the Ice Soul clan did not have a lot of cold moonstones, it would not be rare. He did not expect that even in the Ice Soul clan, cold moonstones were extremely precious treasures. Even Bing Qing found it difficult to obtain one, so it would be impossible for him to buy some. It seems like I'll have to find a replacement in the future if I want to cultivate the frost shackles to greater mastery. Lu Ming sighed inwardly. Cold moonstones weren't the only thing he could use to cultivate the frost shackles to greater mastery. He could also use other precious materials, but most of them were extremely precious. Brother Lu, if you really want the cold moonstones, there's a way. Bing Qing suddenly changed the topic. What way? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. To tell you the truth, most of the cold moonstones in the Ice Soul clan came from the ancestral land. However, the ancestral land was closed for some reason a long time ago, and it was filled with powerful restrictions. Only after a long time will the restrictions weaken, and outsiders can enter the ancestral land. If you're lucky, you might be able to get some cold moonstones this time. Our main purpose in entering the ancestral land this time is to obtain the Ice Jade Heart Chill, but we also want to get some cold moonstones. Bing Qing said. So, the cold moonstones come from the Ice Soul clan's ancestral land. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He was looking forward to this trip to the Ice Soul clan's ancestral land. He had to get some cold moonstones. Brother Lu, if you find any cold moonstones in the ancestral land, they're yours. You can take them with you. Bing Qing added. Thank you, Ninth Young Lord. Lu Ming cupped his fists and thanked her. Then he left. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. 3 days later, everyone gathered again. There were nearly 100 Sky Prides from the Mystic Academy, Kongxian School, and half of the Sky Prides from the Ice Soul clan. There were about 50 Sky Prides from the Ice Soul clan alone. All the top experts under the age of 10,000 had come. Bing Qing was the leader of the Ice Soul clan. Everyone, please follow me, said Bing Qing as she flew in a certain direction. Everyone followed Bing Qing to a large teleportation portal. The Ice Soul race's territory was very vast. They had more than 80 galaxies and countless planets. Their ancestral land was quite a distance away from the Ice Soul star. Beside the teleportation array, there were already dozens of figures. Those figures were all wearing white gowns. There were both men and women. However, they were all very old. Greetings, elders. Bing Qing and the other prodigies of the Ice Soul clan bowed to the old men. These old men were actually the elders of the Ice Soul clan. They were absolutely terrifying experts. Since everyone is here, let's set off. One of the elders of the Ice Spirit clan said as he stepped into the teleportation portal. Then, the other elders also stepped into the portal. Why would he need so many experts of the Ice Soul clan to work together? The same thought flashed through many people's minds, and then everyone stepped into the teleportation matrix. The teleportation matrix flashed, and everyone disappeared. After half a month of teleportation, they arrived at a barren planet. Then, one of the elders of the Ice Soul clan took out a large starship. Everyone boarded the starship and flew for a few more days. In front of them, a strange place appeared in front of them. In front of them in the universe, there were countless huge rocks floating in the air. These rocks looked like they were formed by the explosion of a planet. From afar, these rocks seemed to form a path that led straight ahead. This was the ancestral land of the Ice Soul clan. The elder put away the starship, and they stood in the universe. However, a layer of light appeared on Lu Ming and the others, enveloping them. True gods couldn't stay in the cosmos for too long. This light screen had naturally been set up by the elders of the Ice Soul tribe. The ancestral land of the Ice Soul clan is in the depths of these rocks. We need to pass through these rocks to enter the ancestral land. Bing Qing explained. Pass through these rocks? We are all in the true god realm. However, true gods cannot stay in the universe for long. Someone's expression changed. In front of them, those huge rocks were floating in the sky. It was no different from being exposed in the universe. Don't worry. This area was formed by the explosion of a planet with life a long time ago. It is full of powerful restrictions. However, because of the restrictions, the environment of this area is similar to that of a planet with life. As long as you are under 10,000 years old, you can enter. Bing Qing explained. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. All right, you can go in now. Bing Qing, you must remember that you only have half a year at most. After half a year, the restrictions here will be strengthened again. At that time, you won't be able to come out even if you want to. Remember, regardless of whether you complete the task or not, you must come out within half a year. Understand? One of the elders reminded Bing Qing. Understood. Bing Qing nodded. Her figure flashed, and she rushed towards the area filled with broken rocks. She rushed into the area and stood on a huge piece of broken rock. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The others also moved. They rushed out and stood on the rocks. It is indeed similar to the other planets with life. Lu Ming landed on a piece of gravel and his heart stirred. The environment here was similar to that of a planet with life. There was air and even divine qi, but the gravity here was much lower. Let's go. Bing Qing led the way into the depths of the area. They jumped on the rocks at an amazing speed. Soon, more than 100 people disappeared in front of the elders of the Ice Soul clan. Let's hope this trip is successful. One of the elders sighed. The Ice Soul heart was very important to the Ice Soul clan. However, a long time ago, there was a great turmoil in the Ice Soul clan. A fierce battle broke out, and the ancestral land of the Ice Soul clan almost collapsed. Since then, a terrifying restriction was formed outside the ancestral land of the Ice Soul clan. No one could enter. They had to wait for a long time for the restriction to weaken for half a year. At that time, people under 10,000 years old could enter. They had sent people in a long time ago, but they failed. If they failed again, they would have to wait for many years. They're here. Suddenly, an elder of the Ice Soul clan looked in a direction. His eyes were filled with terrifying killing intent. The other elders of the Ice Soul clan also looked in that direction with cold eyes. Whoosh! A huge starship came from that direction. As it approached, the starship stopped, and a group of people appeared in the starry sky. The people in the lead were also elders. However, their skin was red, and they emitted a scorching aura that seemed to ignite the starry sky. Chapter 2733. The Flame Race. These people were all experts from the Flame race. In the Qin Tian starfield, there were two races other than the Qin Tian 13 sects that were the strongest. They were the Ice Spirit race and the Flame race. Each of these two races was stronger than any single overlord sect. The two major races together occupied a small half of the Qin Tian star universe's territory. Moreover, the Ice Spirit race and the Flame race had always been at odds with each other. The Ice Spirit race wanted to obtain the Ice Jade Heart from the ancestral land, but the Flame race naturally wouldn't allow it. Every time, the Flame race would send people to stop them. Behind the elders of the Flame race was a group of young experts. In addition to these young experts, there was also a group of young prodigies who weren't from the Flame race. If Lu Ming was here, he would recognize a few familiar faces. Jin Sheng from the Vajra race and Yang Chong. Both of them had competed with Lu Ming during the Qin Tian 13 sex assessment. Later, Jin Sheng joined one of the three overlords, the Invincible Kenzo, while Yang Chong joined one of the three overlords, the Immeasurable Sacred Ground. Needless to say, these young prodigies were from the other Qin Tian 13 sects, the Invincible Kenzo, and the Immeasurable Sacred Ground. Flame race, you really came. An elder from the Ice Spirit race said coldly. You want to obtain the Ice Jade Heart and suppress my Flame race? Don't think it'll be that easy. An elder from the Flame race sneered. Don't even think about stopping us. The elder from the Ice Spirit race said coldly as a powerful aura erupted from his body. Boom, boom, boom. Dozens of elders of the Ice Soul clan burst forth with a terrifying aura at the same time. This aura was filled with a terrifying chill. The starry sky they were in was instantly frozen, and this freezing aura was spreading towards the Flame clan. Insignificant skill. Melt for me. The elder from the Flame race roared. Then, flames erupted from all the experts from the Flame race. The entire space was about to burn. Rumble. One side was cold and the other side was hot. Both sides constantly clashed, causing the space to shake violently. We'll hold off those old bastards from the Ice Soul clan. You guys rush into that area. The Scarlet Flame Tribe's experts roared and attacked together. All kinds of attacks bombarded the Ice Soul Tribe's elder. Kill! The elders of the Ice Soul clan also roared and launched an attack. The two sides engaged in an intense battle, and the scene was extremely shocking. If the two sides were to fight on a planet with life, it would probably cause a devastating disaster. The battle between such characters was too terrifying. Perhaps just a strand of energy leaked out could destroy a small kiliocosm like the primordial realm in the heaven realm. Charge!
As the experts from both sides fought, the prodigies from the Flamewing clan and the other sects took the opportunity to charge into the area of rubble.
Damn it! The elders of the Ice Soul clan roared, but they couldn't do anything. Countless years ago, the Ice Soul clan had gone through a great turmoil. Now, their strength was no longer as strong as the Flaming Flame clan. The Flaming Flame clan had come prepared. They had blocked the Ice Soul clan and allowed the others to take the opportunity to rush into the Shattered Rocks area. Seeing those young men rushing into the area of broken rocks, the two sides fought fiercely for a while. Then both sides retreated and faced each other. Even if they rush into the Shattered Rocks area, they might not be able to stop the prodigies of the Ice Soul clan. An elder of the Ice Soul clan snorted. Oh, that might not be the case. An elder from the Flaming Flame clan sneered. The prodigies of the Flaming Flame clan and the other Qin Heavenly 13 sects moved forward as soon as they entered the Shattered Rocks area. They only stopped after going a long distance. Why did you stop moving forward? A prodigy from the invincible Kenzo asked. Don't worry, we can't enter the real ancestral land of the Ice Soul clan. Moreover, there are dangers in the real ancestral land of the Ice Soul clan. Let's wait here until the people of the Ice Soul clan enter the ancestral land. Even if they manage to obtain the Ice Soul Heart Ice Jade, their vitality will be greatly damaged. Let's wait here and catch them off guard. We can kill them easily, a burly young man from the Flaming Flame clan said. Good plan. The others praised. Then, they set up concealment formations in the area. Lu Ming and the others continued moving forward. They had no idea what was going on behind them. The Shattered Rocks area was very long. They didn't know how many miles they had traveled. The distance they had traveled could be measured in hundreds of millions of miles. These were formed by the explosion of a planet of life. One could imagine how long it had been. After 6 or 7 days of traveling, they finally reached the end of the Shattered Rocks area. A huge light screen appeared in front of them, blocking their path. Behind this light screen is my clan's ancestral land. Only the token of my clan can open it. Bing Qing explained and took out a statue. The statue was only a foot tall. It looked like it was carved out of ice. It was crystal clear and emitted a bone-chilling coldness. Bing Qing lifted the statue and let it float in the air. Then, she formed a mysterious hand seal with both hands. Runes entered the statue one after another. Bas! The statue began to vibrate and emit a bright light. The bone-chilling coldness became even stronger. Many people couldn't help but shiver and circulate their cultivation to resist. The light screen on the statue seemed to resonate with the light screen. The light screen trembled slightly. Then, a whirlpool appeared on the light screen. Quick, go in! Bing Qing shouted. The prodigy of the Ice Soul race was the first to rush into the whirlpool. Then, Lu Ming and the others rushed into the whirlpool. In the end, only Bing Qing was left. Bing Qing grabbed the statue and rushed into the whirlpool. The whirlpool slowly disappeared. After Lu Ming rushed into the whirlpool, he appeared on top of a mountain. To be more precise, it was an ice mountain. Sweeping his gaze around, Zhang Xian noticed that Hai and the others were still by his side. It's so cold. Someone shuddered, his voice trembling. The temperature in this world was shockingly low. When a cold wind blew, even true God realm cultivators couldn't help but feel the coldness. They had to circulate their divine power to resist it. Everyone looked into the distance. What they saw was a snow-white land. It was snowing heavily, and the snow-white iceberg stretched as far as the eye could see. However, Lu Ming cultivated divine power of extreme frost. This environment didn't affect him at all. Instead, he felt very comfortable. He circulated his divine power of extreme frost. Strands of cold air gathered toward him and was refined by him into divine power of extreme frost. If one cultivated in this place, the cultivation speed of those who cultivated cold-type divine power would increase by quite a bit. Ninth young lord, where is the heart of ice jade that you're looking for? This world seems very big. Someone looked at Bing Qing and asked. I have a map here. Then, an ice jade talisman appeared in Bing Qing's hand. She inserted her divine power into it. The jade talisman glowed, and a map appeared in the air. Chapter 2734. Everyone started to look at the map carefully. At the southernmost part of the map, there was a red that was shining brightly. This red is our current location. The center of the map is our destination. Bing Qing explained and then pointed to the center of the map.
There was a sign, the sign of an iceberg in the center of the map.
Memorize this map first. If we get separated, we will meet at the center. Within half a year, we will meet here and go out together. Bing Qing said. Everyone focused on the map and memorized it. Those who had reached the true God realm had a photographic memory. Soon, everyone had memorized the map. Let's go. Bing Qing kept the map and everyone flew towards the north. Hoo. The cold wind was bone-chilling and the temperature was shockingly low. However, there were still living things in this world despite the low temperature. On the iceberg and in the valleys, there were different kinds of plants. Some were as white as jade, some were as red as fire, and some were as green as jade. In the valleys, they could occasionally see the figures of some living things flashing by. Everyone was secretly impressed. Nature was indeed full of wonders. Soon, they had flown tens of millions of miles away. However, there was still a long way to go before they reached the center. At this moment, there was a sharp and ear-piercing sound. Then, a beam of white light shot up to the sky from one of the icebergs, bringing with it a whistling cold wind as it pounced toward Lu Ming and the group. That's a phoenix. When the crowd saw the white light, they were shocked. The body of the white light was a snow-white bird. It looked exactly the same as the divine beast phoenix. It's a frost jade ice phoenix. Be careful. Bing Qing shouted. The speed of the frost jade ice phoenix was astonishingly fast. In the blink of an eye, it had reached them. It flapped its wings and many ice crystals, like ice swords, pierced toward Lu Ming and the rest. Its power was terrifying. Everyone took action and used their divine power to block the attack. A long spear appeared in Lu Ming's hand and he swept it towards the ice crystals. Clang! The ice crystals were shattered by Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming's face changed. He realized that the power of the ice crystals was shockingly strong. As expected, some of the weaker ones were pushed back by the ice crystals and vomited blood. The frost jade ice phoenix let out a cry as it flapped its wings continuously. Countless ice crystals, along with a cold wind, swept towards them. Bastard, I'll kill you. A voice sounded. It was the leader of the Mystic Academy. This person was Lu Xueqi. At this moment, his body was emitting black divine power and he threw a few punches. Lu Xueqi, as the captain of the Hybrid Demon Academy, controlled holy divine power and had terrifying battle prowess. With a few punches, a few streams of fist force crushed out, shattering a large number of ice crystals. Whoosh! Lu Xueqi transformed into a beam of black light and charged towards the frigid jade ice phoenix. Sacred Demon Seal. Lu Xueqi's cold voice sounded out. Several black marks on his face flickered with a resplendent black light. Then, they actually formed a large black seal that pressed down on the chilling jade ice phoenix. The frost jade ice phoenix let out an angry cry. It opened its mouth and spat out a white beam of light, which collided with Lu Xueqi's big seal. Boom! The two of them collided, and the frigid jade ice phoenix's beam of light was shattered. However, the power of Lu Xueqi's seal was greatly weakened, and it continued to press down. The frigid jade ice phoenix spread its wings, and they flapped like blades of ice. Boom! The giant seal that Lu Xueqi had formed exploded. His figure was knocked backward, and the marks on his face seemed to have cracked open, causing blood to flow out. Lu Xueqi was no match for the frost jade ice phoenix. Many people were shocked. Lu Xueqi's strength was shocking, but he was still no match for the frost jade ice phoenix. If the others went up, they would die. After forcing Lu Xueqi back, the frost jade ice phoenix flapped its wings and turned into a white beam of light. Scram! At this moment, Bing Qing made his move. His entire body seemed to have turned into a beam of sword light and emitted a cold aura. The frost jade ice phoenix's wings slashed out like blades and collided with Bing Qing's sword light. Dong! A cold aura spread out and both the frost jade ice phoenix and Bing Qing were pushed back. However, the two of them charged forward again and fought fiercely for more than 10 moves. It was difficult to determine the winner. He blocked it. The others were overjoyed. At the same time, they were shocked by Bing Qing's strength. Bing Qing's combat strength was above Lu Xueqi's. Ga. The frost jade ice phoenix couldn't defeat the frost jade ice phoenix. It let out an angry cry and its attacks became more and more violent. However, Bing Qing's combat strength was too strong. He completely blocked the frost jade ice phoenix and even gained the upper hand. However, at this moment, everyone's expression changed. That was because there were sharp screeches in the surroundings. Then, figures rushed out from some of the icebergs. Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes. All of them were Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes. At a glance, there were 8 of them. Including the one from before, there were 9 of them. The 8 that appeared later were huge and their wingspans were more than 200 meters long. Their auras were terrifying and they weren't any weaker than the one from before. Everyone's faces turned extremely ugly. How could they fight with so many Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes? The cries of the 8 Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes resounded through the sky. They flapped their wings and countless ice crystals flew towards Lu Ming and the others. "Block it!" someone shouted. Everyone unleashed their full strength to block the ice crystals. Whoosh! Whoosh! Lu Ming waved his long spear continuously. In an instant, dozens of ice crystals were shot out. Lu Ming's figure also floated back. The power of these ice crystals was extremely shocking. Ah! Ah! There were a few screams. Not everyone could block the ice crystals. A few youths were pierced by the ice crystals and were frozen. Then with a bang they exploded into pieces. The Kongxian school didn't suffer any losses. Lu Ming had blocked dozens of ice crystals alone and shared a lot of the pressure. However, the Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes were approaching. "Let's go, let's go." At this moment, Bing Qing pushed back the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix and rushed towards Lu Ming and the others. Everyone gathered and rushed towards a direction where there were no Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes. Kakaka. A total of 9 Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes chased after Lu Ming and the others. In the blink of an eye, the two parties had flown tens of thousands of miles. However, the 9 Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes were still chasing after them. Everyone's face turned gloomy. They didn't expect to be so unlucky to encounter 9 terrifying Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes. No, if we continue like this, we'll be caught by the 9 Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes sooner or later. We'll be surrounded by them and die. Someone said. Then what should we do? Someone asked. Let's split up. Bing Qing said and made a decision. Split up. Everyone's expression changed. Chapter 27:35. That's right. Let's split up. Bing Qing repeated. There are only 9 Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes. If we split up into a dozen groups, at least some of us won't be chased by the Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes. Also, if the Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes split up, it'll be easier for us to escape. At least we won't be surrounded. Then what if the 9 Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes don't split up and chase after one group? Someone asked. Then that group will be unlucky, Bing Qing said. Some people's faces paled, becoming a bit ugly. If they split up and fled, the 9 Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes would chase after them. Only death would await them. I agree. Let's split up. Lu Xueqi was the first to speak. I agree too. Lu Ming also spoke. 2 sect captains had agreed, and Bing Qing's side had obviously agreed as well. The other sects had no choice but to agree. All right, how should we split up? We'll decide ourselves. If we split up, we'll meet at the center of the map, Bing Qing said. She then ordered the 50 or so Frost Jade race prodigies to split into 12 groups and flew in different directions. Lu Ming and the others also split up. Each of the sects split into a group and flew off in a random direction. The 10 people from the Kongxian school gathered together. This way, the 12 groups of the Frost Jade race and the 6 major sects made a total of 18 groups. There were only 9 Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes, so they couldn't chase all 18 groups at the same time. The 9 Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes let out a few screeches and split up in 9 different directions, chasing after 9 groups. Ha ha ha, they're not chasing us. Great. We're lucky. Run. 9 of the groups were overjoyed when they weren't chased by the Frost Jade Ice Phoenixes. They sped up and fled. Damn it, they're chasing us. How unlucky. The groups that were being chased all had ugly expressions. Fortunately, there was only one Frost Jade Ice Phoenix chasing them, so they still had a chance to escape. Lu Ming's group was also being chased by a Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. How unlucky. That long-faced youth cursed angrily, using all of his divine power to fly with all of his strength. They were well aware of the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix's strength. It was too strong. Even the team leader of the Mystic Academy, Lu Xueqi, was no match for it. Most likely, they were no match for it either. They could only try their best to shake it off or hope that it wouldn't pursue them relentlessly. The chase continued for a full 2 hours. They had no idea how far they had run, but the chilling Jade Ice Phoenix was still hot on their heels. Furthermore, due to the long flight, they had used up a lot of their divine power. On the other hand, the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix seemed to have an inexhaustible amount of energy. The distance between them was slowly shrinking. At this rate, it was only a matter of time before he was caught. What should we do? If there's really no other way, I'll fight it to the death. A few Kongxian school disciples roared. It was impossible to expect others to come to their rescue. At this moment, they had already been separated from the other sections. You guys go first, I'll stop him. At this moment, Lu Ming suddenly spoke. What? Everyone else was stunned. Lu Ming wanted to stay behind and stop this Frost Jade Ice Phoenix alone? Although Lu Ming was strong, he was definitely not a match for this Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. Previously, Lu Shangkai's strength was shocking enough, but even he was at a disadvantage. Lu Ming was most likely not a match for this Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. Whoosh! Lu Ming's flying figure suddenly came to a halt. Seeing this, the others from the Kongxian school could only grit their teeth and continue flying forward. The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix let out a cry. Its sharp and cold eyes stared at Lu Ming as it quickly approached. Come! Lu Ming muttered. His body emitted a strong battle intent. The battle character art suddenly erupted with 3 times the battle strength. Lu Ming naturally didn't stop because he was willing to sacrifice himself for others. The reason why he stopped was because Enhai was a good person. Lu Ming didn't want Enhai to die in the hands of the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. In addition, Lu Ming was confident that he could escape, which was why he stayed behind. If Lu Ming wasn't confident that he could escape, he wouldn't stay behind. Let me see how strong you are. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. He circulated the 9-layer crimson gold armor, and a crimson gold armor appeared. World extinguishing 3 strikes, sky shattering. Lu Ming used his strongest move, Man and Spear Unity, turning into a resplendent spear light that pierced towards the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix let out a cry. Its body was covered with a thick layer of ice armor. With its terrifying speed, it was like a sharp sword piercing through the void. A sword light and a spear light collided with each other at an extremely high speed. Boom! A terrifying explosion rang out. The force of the collision formed rings of shockwaves that spread out in all directions. Lu Ming felt a terrifying force rushing towards him. Lu Ming's body violently trembled. He was pushed back by this force, and only stopped after flying a few hundred li. What a powerful force! Lu Ming felt the blood in his body churning, and a trace of blood flowed out from the corner of his mouth. Lu Ming was completely at a disadvantage in the previous collision. The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix's strength was above Lu Ming's expectations. If Lu Ming hadn't activated the 9-layer crimson gold armor, his injuries would have been even more severe. Moreover, Lu Ming could control the extreme cold divine power. The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix's extreme cold energy was ineffective against him. If it were someone else, their injuries would have been even more severe. Jie! The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix let out a cry and continued to attack Lu Ming. Again! Lu Ming charged towards the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix once again, pushing his divine power to the limit. Although the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix was strong, it couldn't instantly kill him. It could only slightly injure him. This way, he could use it to temper his divine skill. 9 Heavens Garuda Art. In the process of charging out, Lu Ming executed the 9 Heavens Garuda Art. His entire body seemed to have turned into a Garuda, soaring 90,000 li into the sky. Bam! Lu Ming and the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix clashed once again. This time, Lu Ming was pushed back again. Blood flowed from the corner of his mouth. His injuries were more severe, but it wasn't a big deal. Lu Ming took out a healing divine pill that he had bought beforehand and swallowed it. Once again, he unleashed all his divine power and executed 3 divine skills at the same time, attacking the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. Using 3 divine skills at the same time consumed a shocking amount of divine power. With Lu Ming's current cultivation, the divine power in his body was almost depleted after a few attacks. However, Lu Ming had the quantifying character art. The quantifying character art stored a large amount of divine power. At this moment, divine power was surging out endlessly. Lu Ming's divine power was replenished again. Boom! 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 Lu Ming clashed with the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix more than a dozen times. Each time, Lu Ming was pushed back. However, Lu Ming's eyes were filled with intense battle intent. Awesome, awesome! Although Lu Ming was injured at this moment, he felt exhilarated. Due to such an intense fight, he was making rapid progress in several types of divine techniques. Chapter 2736. The ninefold crimson gold armor and apocalyptic 3 strikes were approaching the 4th layer, while the 9 heavens Garuda art was approaching the limit of the 2nd layer. Lu Ming felt that he could break through at any moment. After that, Lu Ming and the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix clashed a few more times. It's about time, Lu Ming thought to himself. After such a long time, and Hai and the others had already escaped. The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix couldn't catch up to them even if it wanted to. Moreover, after several collisions, although Lu Ming was only slightly injured each time, after so many collisions, Lu Ming's injuries were already quite serious. It was still within his control, but if this continued, his injuries would be serious and his foundation would be damaged. The gains wouldn't make up for the losses. I'm not playing with you anymore. Lu Ming randomly chose a direction and executed the 9 heavens Garuda art. Like a Garuda, he charged in that direction. The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix cried out and chased after Lu Ming. Its eyes were filled with cold killing intent. Clearly, it was enraged that it couldn't kill Lu Ming after clashing with Lu Ming repeatedly. Whoosh, whoosh. 2 streaks of light flashed across the sky, leaving behind 2 bright streaks of light as they disappeared into the distance. You're still lacking if you want to catch up to me. Lu Ming smiled and pushed the 9 heavens Garuda art to the limit. A Garuda really appeared on his body. It looked illusory, but it also increased Lu Ming's speed greatly. I broke through. I broke through to the 3rd layer. Lu Ming was overjoyed. He didn't expect that the 9 heavens Garuda art would break through to the 3rd layer unintentionally. The 9 heavens Garuda art wasn't complete. It only had 7 layers, and each layer was more powerful than the last. Once he broke through, his speed would increase greatly. Whoosh! Lu Ming instantly disappeared into the distance, and the distance between him and the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix quickly increased. The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix was different from other divine beast phoenixes. It wasn't known for its speed. The Frost Jade Ice Phoenix's strongest point was its attack. A casual attack could freeze everything. Lu Ming could only resist the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix for so long by relying on his cold divine energy. Therefore, the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix couldn't catch up to Lu Ming after he broke through to the 9 heavens Garuda art. Lu Ming soon left the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix in the dust. Soon. This battle was worth it. Lu Ming's ability to protect himself. His Garuda usability art. The time, Lu Ming's Garuda. Immediately after, Lu Ming found a secluded place and swallowed another healing elixir, circulating his energy to heal his injuries. Lu Ming's injuries were not serious. After a few hours, he had fully recovered. Moreover, the divine power in his body was boiling and he was at his peak. This was, of course, Garuda used. Garuda Yuda Ice Divine Ice was use time. There's a cold moonstone in this region. Since I'm here, I'll look for it. I can't miss it. Lu Ming pondered. He left the area and headed for the central region according to the map. He cultivated as he traveled. He didn't encounter any more danger. Half a day later, Lu Ming arrived at a snowy mountain range. This mountain range was huge. It stretched between heaven and earth. If he wanted to pass through, he had to cross this mountain range. Roar, roar. From afar, he could hear a terrifying roar coming from the mountain range. Clearly, there were terrifying desolate beasts living in the mountain range. Lu Ming withdrew his aura and landed on the ground. He revealed his identity and rushed in. Roar. Not long after he entered the mountain range, a huge creature pounced at Lu Ming. It was a huge lizard. It was dozens of meters tall. Its body was snow white and emitted an icy aura. Its body was covered in a layer of ice armor. It looked like its defense was amazing. Lu Ming stabbed with his spear. Clang! The sound of metal clashing could be heard. The long spear pierced the lizard's ice armor, causing ice to shatter. It made a piercing sound. Break! Lu Ming shouted. His divine power burst forth. The long spear exploded with a terrifying penetrating power. It pierced through the ice armor and killed the lizard. This desolate beast is very strong, Lu Ming thought. The ice-armored lizard's cultivation was only equivalent to a level 1 true god.
However, it was stronger than many level 2 true gods.
It was harder to kill. In the ancestral land of the Ice Soul race, cold air was everywhere. The desolate beasts that lived here were generally stronger. After killing the lizard, Lu Ming continued to go deeper into the mountain range. Next, different desolate beasts attacked Lu Ming continuously. Fortunately, they weren't particularly strong. There weren't any existences as strong as the Frost Jade Ice Phoenix. Soon, Lu Ming had passed through more than half of the mountain range.
Cease.
A few giant ice-armored pythons appeared and charged toward Lu Ming. These giant ice-armored pythons were shockingly powerful.
Each of them was not weaker than an ordinary 5th-level true god.
Coupled with their shocking defense, they were very difficult to kill. Lu Ming spent a lot of effort to kill them. The skin and bones of these ice-armored pythons are good refining materials. They can be used to refine middle-grade divine armors and whips. Lu Ming pondered. Then, he started to peel off the skin and bones of the ice-armored pythons. The soft armors and whips refined from these materials were most suitable for experts who cultivated ice attribute divine power. They could be sold for a good price. There's danger. Lu Ming, who was skinning the pythons, suddenly felt his heart skip a beat. He moved 100 meters to the side. Pang! Pang!
A few rays of black light bombarded the place where Lu Ming had been standing.
One of the rays even slashed the giant ice armor python, splitting it into two. Such power! Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. He knew the defense of the ice-armored python. Even if he used all his strength, he wouldn't be able to break it so easily. Shwa! Shwa! In a flash, a dozen figures appeared not far away. Lu Xueqi from the Mystic Academy. A cold light flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. These people were from the Mystic Academy. Originally, there were 18 people from the Hybrid Demon Academy. But now, it seemed that there were only 16. It seemed that 2 of them had already died. The one leading them was Lu Xueqi. Lu Ming, you're the only one left from the Kongxian school? Lu Xueqi glanced around. So what if I'm the only one left? Lu Ming said lightly. It's nothing. I can only say that you're unlucky to meet us here. Bing Qing stopped us on the Ice Soul planet. Now, no one can help you. Lu Xueqi said coldly.
He didn't bother to hide his strong murderous intent.
If you want to kill me, you will have to pay a heavy price. Lu Ming held the spear in his hand. A strong battle intent radiated from him. I'll be the main attacker. You guys support me from the back. Kill him as soon as possible. Lu Xueqi sent a message to the other members of the Mystic Academy. Lu Ming's strength was too strong. Other than him, no one else was reliable. They could easily be killed by Lu Ming. He had to go first while the others attacked from the back to ensure that nothing would go wrong. Chapter 2737. Swoosh. After the transmission, Lu Xueqi rushed out. At the same time, the black runes on his face glowed and shot out several rays of black light. These rays of black light were the ones that attacked Lu Ming previously. They were extremely powerful and Lu Ming did not dare to be careless. Boom! With surging battle intent, Lu Ming activated the Battle Character Sutra to double his combat strength. The 5 divine flames in his dantian burned fiercely and all of his divine force erupted in an instant. In an instant, Lu Ming stabbed out more than a dozen times. More than a dozen spear shadows pierced out and clashed with Lu Xueqi's rays of black light. Boom! 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 Continuous explosions rang out and the ice on the ground exploded. Lu Ming's body trembled as he felt an extremely powerful force rushing towards him, forcing him to retreat. Wang! Wang! The long spear in Lu Ming's hand vibrated continuously and he felt his hand go numb. What powerful strength! Lu Ming's face turned solemn. Lu Xueqi's strength was truly shocking.
With his cultivation in the 5th level of the True God realm and the control of Saint Grey divine force, his strength was far from what Hai and the others could compare to.
Kill! At the same time, the other people from the Mystic Academy also attacked. For example, Hu Ya and the others were filled with killing intent as they launched terrifying attacks. Lu Ming activated the 9-layered golden armor, and a golden armor covered his entire body. At the same time, Lu Ming retreated rapidly to avoid the attacks. Trying to dodge? Stay here. Lu Xueqi said coldly as he charged towards Lu Ming.
The black runes on his face glowed again and shot out rays of black light.
These rays of black light were sharper than divine blades and their speed was shocking. Again! Lu Ming bellowed. His fighting spirit suddenly became stronger. He had successfully triggered 3 times his combat ability. Next, Lu Ming used the 3 strokes of annihilation. The spear light burst out, and once again collided with Lu Shankai's black light. This time, Lu Ming successfully broke through Lu Shankai's attack. At the same time, he blocked the attacks of the others. You do have some strength. Lu Shankai's cold voice resounded, but the murderous intent in his eyes intensified. The stronger Lu Ming was, the more they had to get rid of him. Kill! Lu Shankai let out a long roar, and his aura became even more terrifying. His entire body was enveloped by a layer of black divine power, making him look like a demonic god. The runes on his face glowed even brighter. Then, a large seal condensed in his hand and slammed down on Lu Ming. Boom! The seal was as huge as a mountain, and its aura was terrifying. Before it even landed, the ice on the ground was shattered. The huge seal directly enveloped Lu Ming within. Lu Ming had seen Lu Shankai use this move against the frigid jade ice phoenix before. One had to know that Lu Shankai didn't have the ability to control the frost element divine energy. During the battle with the frigid jade ice phoenix, he had to defend himself against the frigid jade ice phoenix's frost element divine energy. Even so, he was still able to contend against the frigid jade ice phoenix. Third strike of annihilation, sky-piercing. Lu Ming didn't dare to be careless and attacked with all his might. A dazzling spear radiance shot up into the sky and collided with the black seal. A loud boom was heard. Then, a figure fell to the ground and smashed heavily on the ground. It was Lu Ming. Lu Shankai's strength was indeed shocking. Even though Lu Ming had used all his strength, he was still no match for him. Good chance, kill. Huya roared and attacked together with the other members of the Mystic Academy. They attacked Lu Ming one after another. Boom! The ground exploded, and a figure soared into the sky like a rock. Although Lu Ming was no match for Lu Shankai, his injuries weren't too serious. He used the 9 Heavens rock art and soared into the sky, avoiding Huya and the others' attacks. Want to leave? Say. Lu Shankai was like a ray of black demonic light as he soared into the sky and attacked Lu Ming. Let's go! Lu Ming didn't want to continue fighting. He used the 9 Heavens rock art and turned to leave. With his current strength, he was still weaker than Lu Shankai. With the support of the other members of the Mystic Academy, he was definitely no match for Lu Shankai. If he continued to fight, he would be in danger. The 3rd level of the 9 Heavens rock art was shockingly fast. Lu Ming seemed to have turned into a phantom as he fled. Humph! You want to escape from me? Dream on! Wings of the devil! Lu Shankai coldly shouted. The runes on his face shone even brighter and then spread to the rest of his body. Soon, the rest of his body was covered by the runes. Then, a pair of wings suddenly stretched out from his back. A pair of demonic wings. This was the innate secret technique of the Lu Shankai family. Whoosh! After extending the wings of the devil, Lu Shankai's speed suddenly increased as he charged towards Lu Ming. His speed was even faster than Lu Ming's. It wasn't that his innate secret technique was stronger than the 9 Heavens rock art. It was just that Lu Shankai's cultivation level was higher. When he used it, his speed was naturally faster. Lu Ming's expression changed slightly. His divine power surged as he flew forward with all his might. The 2 of them were extremely fast. Along the way, some desolate beasts noticed them. They didn't even have time to attack before the 2 of them flashed past. Quick! Follow them. The other members of the Mystic Academy also rushed in the direction that Lu Ming and Lu Shankai had flown. Lu Ming and Lu Shankai had flown tens of thousands of miles in the blink of an eye. However, the distance between the 2 of them was getting shorter and shorter. You won't be able to escape. If I don't kill you today, my name isn't Lu Shankai. Lu Shankai said coldly. He waved his hands and a few black beams of light slashed towards Lu Ming. They directly bombarded Lu Ming's 9-layered crimson gold armor, almost shattering Lu Ming's armor. Whoosh! Whoosh! Lu Shankai continuously attacked, while Lu Ming blocked with his spear. In the blink of an eye, another few thousand miles had passed. Lu Ming's expression suddenly changed. A huge canyon appeared in front of him. Within the canyon, there was an extremely terrifying cold air. This cold air even made people feel a sense of danger. Lu Ming didn't even turn his head as he rushed into the canyon. Splash! After Lu Ming rushed into the canyon, he realized that this wasn't an ordinary canyon. There was actually water below the canyon. Yes, there was actually water in such a cold place. It looked like a long and narrow lake. Above the lake, there was constantly a white mist that spread out, severely obstructing one's vision in the canyon. Chi-chi. What was even more shocking was that the white mist that spread out from the lake emitted a chi-chi sound when it came into contact with Lu Ming. Lu Ming was currently circulating his 9-layered crimson gold armor. However, at this moment, a layer of frost had appeared on the surface of the 9-layered crimson gold armor. The 9-layered crimson gold armor had been severely damaged. A terrifying cold air was spreading towards Lu Ming's body. What a terrifying cold air! Lu Ming was shocked. The cold air that spread out from the lake was actually so cold that even the 9-layered crimson gold armor was about to be frozen. Lu Ming hurriedly circulated his supreme frost divine force to counteract the cold air outside. However, Lu Xueqi didn't have supreme frost divine force. He circulated his divine force to resist, but the surface of his body was still covered with a layer of frost. It was bone-chilling. Chapter 2738. Lu Xueqi couldn't help but slow down. He even retracted his demon wings as they were covered with a layer of frost. This is a good place. Let's go deeper. Lu Ming's eyes sparkled as he retracted his extreme cold divine power. Immediately, Lu Ming's body was covered with a layer of frost. He looked like a snowman as he continued to fly deeper into the canyon. Looking at Lu Ming's appearance, Lu Xueqi thought that Lu Ming couldn't hold on any longer. Humph. The cold chi here is terrifying. I don't think an 8th-level empty god realm like you can withstand it. This will be your burial ground. The killing intent in Lu Xueqi's eyes grew colder as he continued to chase after Lu Ming. Soon, they reached the depths of the canyon. The cold chi here was even more terrifying. What's under the water? Why is there such terrifying cold chi here? Lu Ming pondered and was curious. At the same time, he slowed down. Die, brat! Lu Xueqi shouted coldly as he launched an attack on Lu Ming. However, he had to resist the cold chi while launching an attack. Naturally, the power of his attack was weaker than the outside. You're the one who's going to die. Lu Ming suddenly turned around. His eyes were as cold as a knife as he circulated his extreme cold divine power to block the cold chi outside. Then, his divine power erupted as he attacked Lu Xueqi. Boom! Boom! After a few explosions, a figure retreated. It was Lu Xueqi. You? How could you use your full strength? Lu Xueqi shouted in shock. The cold chi here was too terrifying. If one circulated his divine power to block it, his body would be frozen. Once he circulated his divine power to block it, his combat strength would be weakened. However, Lu Ming's attack wasn't weak at all. No, you've mastered the extreme cold divine power. How is it possible? You didn't use the extreme cold divine power just now. Thinking of this, Lu Xueqi shouted in shock. It was unbelievable. One person could control several divine powers at the same time. Kill. Lu Ming didn't bother to talk nonsense with him and attacked Lu Xueqi again. The spear light was like a rainbow, revealing a terrifying killing intent. Want to kill me? Don't even think about it. Lu Xueqi let out a roar as runes appeared all over his body, increasing his strength by a few notches. He condensed a pitch-black cauldron and blasted it towards Lu Ming. But unfortunately, he still had to divert a portion of his divine power to resist the cold air outside, so it was difficult for him to unleash his strongest might. In the collision with Lu Ming, he was at a disadvantage. Boom! The pitch-black seal shattered, and Lu Xueqi was sent flying backwards while vomiting blood. Kill! Lu Ming seized the opportunity and crazily attacked Lu Xueqi. Crash! The energy surged, and the lake water surged, creating thousands of waves. Some of the lake water fell on Lu Ming's body. Immediately, a bone-piercing chill spread throughout Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming couldn't help but shudder. One had to know that Lu Ming was circulating the supreme frost divine power at this moment, but he still felt the chill. The temperature of the lake water was shockingly low. If Lu Ming was already like this, Lu Xueqi was naturally worse. When he was splashed by the lake water, his body turned into a block of ice. Even his divine power was about to be frozen. Ah! Lu Xueqi roared and burned his divine power. His divine power burned like flames, melting the ice and removing the chill. However, Lu Ming's attack arrived. A spear light pierced towards Lu Shangkai's vitals.
He roared and avoided the attack, but his chest was still pierced by the spear light, and his body flew far away.
Lu Ming, remember this, Lu Shangkai roared, stretched out his demon wings, and turned to run. He knew that he couldn't kill Lu Ming today. If he continued to stay, he might really die here. Where do you think you're going? Lu Ming chased after him. However, Lu Shangkai was burning his divine power, and his speed was shocking. Lu Ming couldn't catch up to him for a while. Soon, Lu Shangkai rushed out of the valley.
After rushing out of the valley, Lu Shangkai spurted out a few mouthfuls of blood.
His aura was weak, and he was severely injured.
He didn't dare to stay any longer. He turned into a streak of light and flew away.
It's a pity that this guy got away. Lu Ming didn't chase after him, and he sighed inwardly. Lu Shangkai flew all the way, and soon, he ran into other people from the Mystic Academy. The other people from the Mystic Academy were shocked when they saw Lu Shangkai injured. Senior brother Lu, what happened to you? Where is Lu Ming? Lu Ming, that brat. Was he killed by senior brother Lu? The disciples of the Mystic Academy spoke one after another. Lu Shangkai's face turned gloomy, and he said, Lu Ming isn't dead yet.
That brat is very cunning.
He hid in a dangerous place, and I accidentally fell into his trap. Now, I need to find a place to heal. The others were shocked. So Lu Ming was still alive, and he seemed to have tricked Lu Shangkai and injured him. Immediately, they found a secluded place to stay. Lu Shangkai did not reveal the fact that Lu Ming had mastered a few types of divine powers. He had selfish motives. He wanted to kill Lu Ming secretly and seize that cultivation technique. He can control several types of divine power at the same time. What kind of divine art is this? I must get it. Lu Shangkai's eyes shone with a cold light. He swallowed a divine pill and started to heal. Lu Ming didn't leave the valley. The cold air in the valley made Lu Ming curious. Lu Ming decided to explore. Lu Ming went deeper into the valley. The deeper he went, the colder the air became. If he didn't cultivate the cold attribute divine power, it would be difficult to resist. However, Lu Ming had the cold divine power, so he could resist it. Soon, he reached the end of the valley, which was separated by an ice wall. The cold air was the thickest here, and it was constantly being emitted from the lake. There must be something under the water. Let's go down and take a look. Lu Ming made up his mind.
Then, he activated the cold divine power and covered it with all his strength, and plunged into the lake.
Once he entered the lake, Lu Ming shivered again. The temperature in the lake was shockingly low. However, Lu Ming still resisted it and slowly dived down. The lake wasn't very deep, only about 100 meters. Soon, Lu Ming reached the bottom of the lake. As soon as Lu Ming reached the bottom of the lake, he found something strange. At the bottom of the lake, there was a ball of snow-white liquid. It was the size of a fist and was floating in the lake, emitting a shocking coldness.
Lu Ming concluded that the source of the coldness here was this ball of liquid.
What kind of liquid is this? It's actually filled with such shocking coldness? Lu Ming looked at it carefully, but he couldn't recognize it at all. This is most likely a treasure. I can't miss it. Lu Ming approached it slowly. There was nothing strange. Then, Lu Ming took out a storage ring. A suction force appeared and enveloped the ball of liquid. The ball of liquid was successfully stored in the storage ring. Once the liquid was stored, the temperature here quickly rose. The coldness was greatly reduced, and it wasn't that cold anymore.
That liquid was indeed the source of the coldness here.
Let's take it back and study it. Lu Ming grabbed the storage ring in his hand and was about to take it back to study it slowly. However, at this moment, Lu Ming was shocked by a scene. Chapter 2739. Lu Ming grabbed the storage ring and was about to put it away when a terrifying chill suddenly gushed out from the storage ring, almost freezing Lu Ming's hand. Lu Ming quickly let go of the storage ring, only to see that there was already a layer of frost on the storage ring. Crack! Following that, a crack appeared on the surface of the storage ring. After the first crack appeared, a second crack appeared immediately. Then, more and more cracks appeared. In the end, the cracks were densely packed like a spider web. Bang! A moment later, the storage ring shattered into pieces like a piece of ice, and the ball of liquid reappeared in the lake, emitting a shocking chill. Lu Ming was tongue-tied when the storage ring was frozen and shattered. Fortunately, there was nothing else in the storage ring. Lu Ming was afraid that the other things would be frozen by the liquid, so he took an empty storage ring to store the liquid. He never expected that even the storage ring could not store it. Kid, this kind of treasure usually needs to be stored in a corresponding tool or sealed before it can be taken away. You can't just take it away with the storage ring. The voice of the quantifying formula sounded in Lu Ming's mind. Old quantifying formula. Do you know any sealing techniques? Teach me one or two. Lu Ming said. I don't know. The quantifying formula replied, making Lu Ming roll his eyes. Can't I take this treasure away? Lu Ming was a little speechless, and he felt very uncomfortable. The ball of liquid was definitely a rare treasure. It would be strange if he did not feel uncomfortable when he encountered a treasure but could not take it away. That's not necessarily true. Don't you cultivate the ice attribute secret technique? Just refine the liquid and make it a part of your secret technique. Not only can you take it away, but it can also transform your secret technique and make it powerful. The quantifying formula said. That's right. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He came here to look for the cold moonstone to cultivate the ice chains, but other than the cold moonstone, other ice attribute treasures might be able to replace it. If he cultivated with this ball of liquid, he might be able to increase the power of the ice chains. Then let's begin. Lu Ming looked expectant. He immediately activated the ice chain secret technique, and 9 ice chains extended from his body. Brat. Wait a moment. Rather than cultivating 9 chains, why don't you cultivate one? Focus on cultivating 1 ice chain with this ball of liquid. Only then will you be able to truly unleash the power of this ball of liquid. If you cultivate 9 chains and spread them out, they won't be as powerful. The quantifying formula reminded him again. That makes sense. Lu Ming nodded. With a thought, the other 8 ice chains were put away, leaving only 1 ice chain to wrap around the ball of liquid. As soon as it was wrapped around the liquid, the ice chains began to make cracking sounds, as if they were about to be frozen. The ice shackles were originally extremely cold and een, but now they were about to be frozen. From this it could be seen that this ball of liquid was extremely cold. Furthermore, waves of shocking coldness flowed through the ice shackles and rushed into Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming quickly circulated his Sovereign's God Force and Extreme Frost God Force to resist the coldness. Then, according to the ice chain secret technique, he began to absorb and refine the ball of liquid. This was a difficult process, and the speed was very slow. Time passed day by day. 1 day, 5 days, 10 days, 1 month. Lu Ming's refinement took 2 months. During this time, Lu Xueqi led the Mystic Academy's people to block Lu Ming at the valley's entrance. However, more than a month had passed, and Lu Ming still hadn't come out. Lu Xueqi thought that Lu Ming had left long ago, so he left as well. After 2 months of refining, the ball of liquid was finally completely refined by Lu Ming. It was completely integrated into the ice chain secret technique. The ice chain secret technique seemed to have solidified, and a bone-piercing coldness emanated from them. Good. Lu Ming was extremely satisfied. The ice chain secret technique was extremely powerful, and it could definitely become Lu Ming's trump card. Once he used it, he could catch his opponent off guard and seal them in ice. Lu Ming put away the ice chain secret technique with satisfaction. The ice chain secret technique retracted into Lu Ming's body and disappeared. Since it had been refined, it naturally didn't affect Lu Ming in the slightest. It's already been 2 months. I have to hurry to the central region. Lu Ming pondered for a moment before leaving the valley and heading towards the central region. Along the way, Lu Ming also searched for the cold moon stone. Unfortunately, he didn't find any traces of the cold moon stone. Just like that, after half a month, Lu Ming finally arrived at his destination. There was an incomparably huge iceberg in the central region. This iceberg pierced through the clouds, and it was several 100,000 meters tall. This was the destination of their trip. The ice jade chilling heart that the Ice Soul tribe was looking for was on this iceberg. However, this iceberg wasn't easy to ascend. There was a terrifying seal here that prevented flight. One could only climb up the mountain. However, there were many powerful desolate beasts guarding the mountain. The Ice Soul tribe's 9th prince, Bing Qing, and many others from the Ice Soul tribe had arrived. In addition, Lu Shangkai and the others had also arrived. They didn't ascend the mountain immediately. Instead, they waited for everyone to arrive and gather their strongest forces before ascending the mountain together. More people are coming. Suddenly, someone looked in a direction. 9 figures flew over from the other side. These 9 people were the Kongxian School's disciples, and Hai, and the others. After a few months of trekking, they had finally arrived at this place. They are the Kongxian School's disciples. When Lu Shangkai saw the Kongxian School's disciples, his eyes were filled with a cold light. His body moved, and he charged towards Hai and the others. His powerful aura was like a mountain, pressing down on Hai and the others. Boom! Hai and the others' bodies shook violently as they retreated. Some of the weaker ones even spat out a mouthful of blood. Lu Shangkai, what are you doing? Hai was furious. What am I doing? Lu Shangkai sneered. His cold killing intent spread out, causing the surroundings to become even colder. Whoosh! 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 The other disciples of the Mystic Academy flashed and surrounded Hai and the others. Hai and the others' faces turned pale. Where is Lu Ming? Lu Shangkai asked coldly. I don't know. We were separated from him a long time ago. The long-faced young man replied. Separated? Well, since that kid isn't here, I'll take your lives. Lu Shangkai said savagely. The black lines on his face glowed as he was about to kill Hai and the others. Hai and the others' faces changed drastically. The 9 of them gathered together and set up layers of defense. Brother Lu. Wait a minute. At this moment, Bing Qing spoke and walked over. 9th Prince, are you going to stop me? Lu Shangkai looked at Bing Qing. This time, the Ice Soul Tribe invited you here to retrieve the Ice Jade Heart. Now that we haven't gotten the Ice Jade Heart, I have to ensure that we gather the strongest forces. If you have any grudges, settle them after we get the Ice Jade Heart. At that time I won't stop you, Bing Qing said. His meaning was clear. Now, he needed everyone's strength to retrieve the Ice Jade Heart. Once they got the Ice Jade Heart, they could fight however they wanted. Chapter 2740. Lu Shangkai's expression changed, then he smiled coldly and said, Since the 9th young lord has spoken, I'll give you face. However, the Kongxian School has offended me, and I can't let them off so easily. Then, he looked at Hai and the others and said condescendingly, I'll give you a chance. Kneel down and kowtow to me, and I'll spare your lives. What? You want us to kneel down and kowtow to you? Don't even think about it. Hai roared. Kneeling down and kowtowing to Lu Shangkai in front of so many people was an insult. Moreover, if this matter were to spread to the Kongxian School, they wouldn't be able to stay in the school anymore. It wasn't just their personal humiliation, but also the Kongxian School's. That's right, Lu Shangkai. Every debt has its debtor. Lu Ming has offended you, so you should be looking for Lu Ming, not us. The long-faced young man also shouted. Lu Ming is from the Kongxian School. He has offended me, so all of you are guilty. Do you understand? Now kneel down. Lu Shangkai shouted coldly, and the aura on his body became more violent. It pressed down on Hai and the others like a mountain. A few of the weaker cultivators were immediately unable to withstand it. They spat out blood and fell to the ground. Only Hai and the long-faced young man were still struggling to hold on. You still want to resist? Get down. Lu Shangkai let out a cold roar and stretched out his hand. A huge palm formed and pressed down on Hai and the long-faced young man. The 2 of them roared and unleashed their full power to block. However, they were no match for the palm. Their bodies trembled violently and they fell to the ground like meteors. Boom! Lu Shangkai looked down from above, and his aura became more violent, pressing down on Hai and the others. Kneel down. Lu Shangkai stepped forward step by step, and the violent pressure continued to press down on Hai and the others. Plop! Finally, some of the weaker ones couldn't withstand it and knelt down with a plop. Kneel down. The other masters of the Mystic Academy joined in as well, releasing their pressuring auras. With so many masters exerting pressure together, the pressure was even more astonishing. The disciples of Kongxian School found it even more difficult to bear. One by one, they knelt down. In the end, only Hai and the long-faced young man had not knelt down. They were bitterly holding on. Still not kneeling? You're courting death. Lu Shangkai shouted coldly and pressed down with another palm. A huge palm formed, wanting to force An Hai and the others to kneel on the ground. Lu Shangkai, you're so impressive. At this moment, a cold voice sounded from afar. Before the voice had even finished, a spear ray had already flown over and pierced through the spear ray that Lu Shangkai had condensed. Lu Ming! Lu Shangkai stared coldly into the distance. Over there, a figure was flying over. If it wasn't Lu Ming, who else could it be? After traveling for more than half a month, Lu Ming finally arrived at this place, just in time to see the scene of Lu Shangkai oppressing An Hai and the others. Boss! Seeing Lu Ming, An Hai was overjoyed. Lu Ming flew over and stopped not far away. Kid, you finally dare to show yourself. I thought you wouldn't dare to show yourself. Lu Shangkai said coldly. Why wouldn't I dare to show myself to a loser? Lu Ming smiled disdainfully. On the side, Bing Qing and the others were shocked. Loser? Could it be that Lu Ming had already fought with Lu Shangkai before and Lu Shangkai was defeated? Lu Ming was so strong? Nonsense. You're just taking advantage of the environment. Now, let's see how you're going to fight against me. Lu Shangkai shouted, his killing intent becoming even more intense. You too, if there's anything, let's settle it later. Bing Qing stood out and spoke. Ninth young master, don't worry, I won't kill him now. I just want him to kneel down and kowtow to me. Lu Shangkai said coldly. I have the same intention. Looking at Lu Shangkai, a trace of killing intent flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. Seeing that the two were at daggers drawn, Bing Qing helplessly shook her head and retreated to the side. Lu Ming, kneel down and kowtow to me. Lu Shangkai roared, the runes on his face glowing and quickly covering his entire body. Shoo shoo shoo. A few rays of black light burst forth and slashed toward Lu Ming. Fight! Lu Ming's body burst out with an astonishing battle intent. He had been silently activating the battle formula before, and now he had succeeded in activating the battle formula to double his battle strength. Bas! The long spear vibrated, causing the air to explode. Several rays of spear light pierced through the air and charged forward. After a series of explosions, the spear light and Lu Shangkai's light collapsed, and Lu Ming's figure floated back. So powerful. Although Lu Ming retreated, the others were still shocked by Lu Ming's battle strength. Lu Ming could actually block Lu Shangkai's attack. In their eyes, it was simply unbelievable. Kill! Lu Shangkai roared, exerting his strength to the extreme. He pushed his hands forward, and a large black seal condensed, pressing down on Lu Ming. The large seal stirred up waves in the sky, and its power was astonishing. 9 Heavens Garuda Technique. Lu Ming displayed the 9 Heavens Garuda Technique, and like a Garuda, he soared into the sky and dodged Lu Shangkai's attack in a flash. You want to leave? Stay. A pair of devil wings extended from Lu Shangkai's back. As he flapped, his speed was equally astonishing. He chased after Lu Ming and launched a fierce attack at the same time. Sky piercing. Lu Ming suddenly turned around and displayed the 3 strikes of extinction. Boom! A mushroom cloud seemed to erupt in the sky, and then Lu Ming's figure floated back. Lu Ming was indeed no match for Lu Shangkai in a head-on confrontation, mainly because the difference in cultivation was too great. Lu Ming, if you don't kneel today, then die. Lu Shangkai's cold voice rang out, and he continued to attack Lu Ming. Boom! Boom! 2 figures flickered in the sky, constantly colliding with each other. Their speed was extremely fast, and some of the weaker cultivators couldn't even see the trajectory of their figures. Lu Ming is going to lose. Someone whispered. After continuous collisions, Lu Ming's breath was a little unstable, and blood was flowing out from the corner of his mouth. Kneel! Lu Shangkai looked down from above, holding a large seal in his hand, and smashed it down on Lu Ming. He wanted to suppress Lu Ming and make Lu Ming kneel on the ground. Now! Lu Ming's eyes flickered, staring at Lu Shangkai's figure. He then displayed the sky piercing, and rushed towards Lu Shangkai as one. Boom! This collision shook Lu Ming's body, and he vomited blood. His body fell to the ground like a kite with a broken string. Seeing this, Lu Shangkai revealed a ferocious expression. He flapped his demon wings and rushed towards Lu Ming like a bolt of lightning. In an instant, he was close to Lu Ming, but he found that Lu Ming's face was very calm, and there was even a trace of a sneer at the corner of his mouth. Not good. Lu Shangkai's heart beat wildly, and he had a bad premonition. Ice shackles. At this time, Lu Ming spoke indifferently, and a chain suddenly flew out from his body. It was the secret technique ice shackles. As soon as the ice shackles came out, the surrounding temperature dropped sharply. Chapter 2741. The ice shackles was a secret technique condensed from divine energy. It could be long or short. Lu Ming suddenly used it. The ice shackles became a few thousand meters long like a snake and shrouded Lu Xueqi. Then, the ice shackles shrunk, trying to bind Lu Xueqi. Lu Xueqi's face changed drastically. He felt a bone-piercing coldness shrouding him, trying to freeze him into a popsicle. "Break it!" Lu Xueqi roared. Divine energy burst out from his body and the runes on his body shone brightly. Rays of black light that were sharper than a divine blade slashed at the ice shackles. Clang, clang, clang. Sparks flew everywhere, but the ice shackles remained intact. The ice shackles wouldn't have been able to block Lu Xueqi's attack before he refined the ice shackles. But now, Lu Xueqi couldn't break the ice shackles at all. Whoosh! The ice shackles shook and shrunk rapidly, wrapping around Lu Xueqi. Break, break, break. Lu Xueqi roared crazily and continued to attack. He even formed a seal to attack, but it was useless. The terrifying cold air continued to invade Lu Xueqi's body. He felt as if the blood in his body was being frozen. In the next moment, the ice shackles wrapped around Lu Xueqi's body, freezing him into a popsicle. Although Lu Xueqi had been using his divine energy to resist, he wouldn't be able to last long. Lu Xueqi was actually defeated. Everyone was dumbfounded. They didn't expect this to happen. Especially the disciples of the Mystic Academy. Their faces were pale. They knew how strong Lu Xueqi was. But now, even Lu Xueqi couldn't defeat Lu Ming. They wouldn't be able to withstand a single blow if they went up. What a terrifying coldness. Bing Qing and the other sky prides of the Ice Spirit clan looked at Lu Ming in shock. Then, they looked at the ice shackles. The reason for that was because the chilliness emitted by the ice shackles caused even them to feel apprehensive, and their hearts to palpitate. They were experts in ice. It was rare to see a coldness that could make them shudder. Now, it's time for you to kneel. Lu Ming walked towards Lu Xueqi step by step. With a thought, the ice shackles danced and smashed onto the ground. Boom! The ground shook and Lu Xueqi fell into it. Lu Xueqi spat out blood. His body was still bound by the ice shackles. At this moment, he couldn't move at all. His entire body was frozen stiff. Next, Lu Ming controlled the ice shackles to lift Lu Xueqi up and smash him down again. This time, Lu Ming controlled it very well. He directly made Lu Xueqi kneel on the ground. Lu Xueqi. Lu Ming. A. He had actually knelt in front of Lu Ming in front of everyone. Lu Xueqi was a genius who could control holy divine power. He was one of the top geniuses in the Mystic Academy. Once he entered the heavenly god realm, he would become the holy son of the Mystic Academy. In the future, he would have a chance to compete for the position of the dean of the Mystic Academy. But now, he had actually knelt in front of Lu Ming in front of everyone. This was not only a matter of pride for him. It was also a matter of pride for the Mystic Academy. If news of this spread to the Mystic Academy, he would definitely lose the right to become the Holy Son. How could a person who knelt in front of a disciple of the Kongxian school be qualified to become the Holy Son? Wouldn't that be a huge loss of face for the Hybrid Devil Academy? Therefore, kneeling was equivalent to ruining Lu Xueqi's future. Therefore, Lu Xueqi was filled with hatred. He wanted to skin Lu Ming alive. If you want others to kneel, you should be prepared to kneel. Today, I will spare your life for the sake of the 9th young lord. Lu Ming said coldly as he put away the ice shackles. Now that Lu Ming had refined the ice shackles, its power had increased greatly. Lu Ming was no longer afraid of Lu Xueqi. Now it was more important to reach the peak. Lu Ming guessed that there might be a cold moonstone on the peak of the mountain. After he obtained the cold moonstone, he would definitely kill Lu Xueqi if he had the chance to do so in order to prevent future trouble. After Lu Ming put away the ice shackles, Lu Xueqi's body was still frozen. He continued to circulate his holy divine power until his body recovered after a while. His heart was filled with endless killing intent, but he suppressed it. He suppressed it and returned to the Mystic Academy with a gloomy face. Everyone continued to wait. A few days later, more people arrived. This time, most of the elites from the various sects had arrived. Of course, there were fewer people, most probably dead. All right, now that everyone is here, let's set off. The ice jade chilling heart is at the peak of that mountain, said Bing Qing, looking at the ice mountain in the distance that was as tall as the sky. There are many desolate beasts on that ice peak. The most shocking thing is that there are a few terrifying ice dragons at the bottom of the ice peak. These ice dragons are all in the heavenly god realm. Bing Qing said. What? Heavenly god realm ice dragons? Are you kidding? How can we break through a heavenly god realm ice dragon? We are courting death. That's right. A heavenly god realm ice dragon can freeze us into popsicles with one breath. Ninth young lord, are you mistaken? Many people shouted when they heard Bing Qing's words. That's right. A heavenly god realm ice dragon is not something we can handle. Of course, we don't need to. My ice soul tribe already has a plan. Bing Qing smiled. Everyone calmed down. Although the ice dragon is strong, my ice soul tribe has prepared a type of chilling heart grass. We have injected a deadly poison into the chilling heart grass. The ice dragon loves to eat the chilling heart grass. Once they discover it, they will definitely swallow it. That way, they will be poisoned. This deadly poison is enough to make a heavenly god realm ice dragon unconscious for half a month. Half a month is enough for us to reach the peak of the mountain and get the ice jade chilling heart. Bing Qing explained. That's great. Everyone nodded. Immediately, everyone concealed their aura and approached the ice peak carefully. When they were a few hundred miles away from the ice peak, they saw a few ice dragons lying at the foot of the ice peak. Each ice dragon was 10,000 meters long and they were lying at the foot of the ice peak like a few mountain ranges. Wait for me here, Bing Qing reminded him. Then, her figure flashed and she went forward. After moving forward for a while, Bing Qing took out a jade box from her storage ring. The surface of the jade box was covered with strange runes. Bing Qing removed the runes carefully and opened the jade box. She took out a few stalks of chilling heart grass and placed them on the ground. Bing Qing ran back to Lu Ming and the others quickly. As soon as the chilling heart grass appeared, it emitted a strong fragrance that spread a few thousand miles away. The few ice dragons immediately smelled the fragrance of the chilling heart grass. Their noses twitched and they opened their eyes. Chapter 2742. A dragon's roar was heard, shaking the 9 heavens. The entire ice mountain shook and a vast dragon's aura filled the air. It was terrifying. Lu Ming and the others retracted their auras and did not dare to move. A heavenly god was too powerful. They were not someone they could fight against. They could kill them all in one move. Dong, dong, dong. The ice dragons stood up and stomped on the ground, causing the ground to shake. A few of the ice dragons stared at the chilling heart grass. They twisted their bodies and came near the chilling heart grass. However, their eyes flashed with doubt. They were puzzled as to why the chilling heart grass would appear here. Although the ice dragons were puzzled, they could not resist the temptation of the chilling heart grass. They opened their mouths and swallowed the chilling heart grass. They seemed to be enjoying themselves. It's done. Bing Qing was overjoyed. She stared at the ice dragons. After the ice dragons finished eating the chilling heart grass, they turned around and walked back. However, as they walked, their bodies began to stagger as if they were drunk. In the end, with a few thuds, they fell to the ground one after another and fell asleep. It's done. The ice dragons are unconscious. Someone shouted in surprise. Everyone, let's go. These ice dragons will not wake up in half a month. Bing Qing smiled and rushed towards the ice mountain. The others followed her. As expected, when they got close to the ice dragons, they did not react at all. They were still sleeping. Swoosh. Suddenly, a sword radiance shot out. A young man stabbed his sword at the neck of one of the ice dragons. However, when the combat sword hit the ice dragon's neck, there was a crisp sound of collision. Sparks flew, but the ice dragon was unharmed. What are you doing? Do you want to die? If you wake up the ice dragon, we will all die. Bing Qing shouted. She looked terrible as she stared at one of the young men. That young man was a genius from the Mystic Academy. His eyes shone with greed. Obviously, he wanted to kill the ice dragon and obtain its corpse. This ice dragon was a heavenly god realm existence.
Everything on its body was a treasure.
If he brought it out, it would be priceless. Unfortunately, the heavenly god realm ice dragon's defense was too strong. Even if it lay there motionless, he would not be able to break through its defense. After being scolded by Bing Qing, the young man's expression changed drastically. Don't act rashly. A heavenly god realm ice dragon is not something we can kill. Lu Shangkai also spoke. Actually, many people had the same thought earlier. They wanted to kill the ice dragon.
However, none of them dared to do so now.
The ice dragon's defense was too strong. If they couldn't kill it in one move, they could only injure it and awaken it. Otherwise they would all die. If anyone dares to do such a foolish thing again, don't blame me for being merciless. Bing Qing warned and continued to move forward. Soon, they passed by a few ice dragons and arrived at the foot of the ice mountain. When they arrived here, they felt that the world was filled with a powerful pressure that pressed down on them. Go! Bing Qing took the lead and rushed towards the top of the ice mountain. Roar! Roar!
They had only rushed out a few thousand meters when there were roars coming from the top of the ice mountain.
The rocks that looked like ice stones suddenly wriggled and turned into desolate beasts. It turned out that many of the ice stones were actually desolate beasts. When they came up, they immediately alerted the desolate beasts. These desolate beasts included ice-armored lizards, ice-armored pythons, ice-armored giant bulls and others.
All of them were covered in ice armor, and they roared as they charged towards Lu Ming and the rest.
Kill! Bing Qing took the lead and charged forward. Sword radiance burst out and in an instant, 3 desolate beasts were split in half. Swoosh! Lu Ming stabbed with his spear and pierced through an ice-armored giant bull, killing it on the spot. These desolate beasts weren't too strong. Most of them were peak empty god realm. Some of them were level 1 and 2 true god realm, so it wasn't too difficult to kill them. They gathered together and formed a cone shape. They quickly pushed forward and rushed towards the top of the ice mountain.
However, as they continued to go up, the desolate beasts that appeared became stronger and harder to kill.
Gradually, there were no more empty god realm desolate beasts. Those that appeared were mostly true god realm desolate beasts. Their speed became slower and slower. Bing Qing was still brave and invincible. Every move she made could kill a desolate beast. In addition, Lu Shangkai was also very strong. With a wave of his hand, rays of black light burst out and killed a level 3 true god desolate beast. Lu Ming shook his long spear and pulled it out, splitting a 3rd level true god ice-armored giant python into 2 halves. With the 3 experts leading the way and the rest cooperating, although their speed had slowed down, they were still moving forward slowly and nearing the top of the mountain. If they continued, it wouldn't take long for them to reach the top of the mountain. However, at this moment, there was a sudden change. In a place further away, there were roars of beasts. Then, the mountain rumbled and large groups of desolate beasts charged towards them. There were desolate beasts from both left and right. In front of these desolate beasts, there were a few figures flashing rapidly. Those few figures weren't desolate beasts. They were from the Ice Soul race. Yes, they looked very similar to the Ice Soul race. They had snow-white hair and snow-white eyes. The only difference was that their skin was slightly darker. Dark Ice Race. Damn it. It's the Dark Ice Race. How did they enter the ancestors' land? Immediately, a few supreme talents from the Ice Soul race shouted angrily. Dark Ice Race? What's the Dark Ice Race? Someone asked. The supreme talents from the Ice Soul race looked gloomy. Let me explain. A long time ago, the Dark Ice Race was a member of the Ice Soul race. However, the Dark Ice Race was betrayed by the Ice Soul race and started a civil war. That war was extremely tragic. In the end, the Ice Soul race's ancestors' land was destroyed and our strength was greatly reduced. In the end, the Dark Ice Race was defeated and the remaining people went into hiding. All these years, they have been secretly opposing the Ice Soul race. Bing Qing explained quickly and simply. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. He understood many things. He had heard that the Ice Soul race used to be very powerful. However, after a great war, their ancestors' land was destroyed and their strength was greatly reduced. As a result, they were no match for the Flaming race. A long time ago, the Ice Soul race was more powerful than the Flaming race. They were the real #1 force in the Qin Tian Star Zone. It turned out that there was a civil war. In the past, the Dark Ice race couldn't enter the ancestors' land without the ancestors' token. This time, the dark ice race was able to enter the ancestors' land and lay in ambush. Bing Qing said through gritted teeth. Everyone understood what Bing Qing meant. Obviously, the dark ice race had entered the ancestors' land earlier than them. However, they probably had no way to deal with the ice dragon, so they hid in the dark and waited for them to kill the ice dragon. After that, they would appear and lure other desolate beasts to attack Lu Ming and the others. It's impossible for you to get the ice jade chilling heart. Go to hell. A young man from the dark ice race laughed coldly and rushed toward them. Chapter 2743. The young men from the dark ice tribe looked ferocious. When they got close to Lu Ming's group, the wild beasts that had been attacking Lu Ming's group also attacked them. Together with the wild beasts chasing them, the young men from the dark ice tribe were drowned by the wild beasts in an instant and died in the crowd. However, the wild beasts they had attracted also noticed Lu Ming's group and joined the attack. Lu Ming's group was heavily surrounded. Apparently, the young men from the dark ice tribe were like men of sacrifice. They had sacrificed themselves to attract a large number of wild beasts to trap them. Look! Shouted someone. He looked in one direction and saw many silhouettes dashing towards the top of the mountain. They were all from the Dark Ice clan. They wanted to reach the top of the mountain first. Apparently, their target was Bing Yu Chilling Heart. Damn it! Bing Qing shouted anxiously. You guys block them. I'll go first. Bing Qing said. Then, he unleashed his full strength and slashed out a terrifying sword light. Dozens of wild beasts were killed in succession. Bing Qing rushed forward quickly. He wanted to stop the Dark Ice tribe alone. Bing Yu Chilling Heart was very important. It was related to the rise of the Ice Soul tribe. He could not let it fall into the hands of the Dark Ice tribe. Bing Qing's fighting strength was amazing. Soon, he opened a path and got out of the encirclement. At the same time, a figure from the Dark Ice tribe suddenly changed direction and rushed toward Bing Qing. When Bing Qing finally got out of the encirclement of the wild beasts, the young man from the Dark Ice tribe had arrived. Your opponent is me. The young man from the Dark Ice tribe said coldly. He slashed his saber at Bing Qing. The saber light was cold and powerful. Bing Qing blocked it with his sword. The two of them fought fiercely. The young man from the Dark Ice tribe was obviously a peerless genius. He was evenly matched with Bing Qing. The other members of the Dark Ice tribe were quickly approaching the top of the mountain. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. Then he used the ice chain. Whoosh! A cold ice chain flew out and lashed at those wild beasts. Lu Ming was surprised to see that when he waved his cold ice chain, those wild beasts actually revealed a look of fear. They did not dare to resist and kept retreating. How could it be? Lu Ming was delighted. It was probably because of the cold liquid. How could Lu Ming let go of this opportunity? His figure flashed and he dashed out. With a few flashes, he dashed out of the encirclement of the desolate beasts. Bing Qing and Lu Ming dashed out consecutively. The pressure on the rest increased tremendously. They had to give up on attacking and turn to defense. Only then did they stabilize their footing. Lu Ming moved and dashed toward the peak of the mountain. Seeing Lu Ming rush out, Bing Qing was overjoyed. She shouted, Lu Ming, you must stop them from getting the Ice Jade Chilling Heart. If you can get the Ice Jade Chilling Heart, you will be a friend of the Ice Soul clan. Lu Ming did not reply. He kept rushing toward the top of the mountain. His main goal was the Cold Moon Stone. Stopping the Dark Ice tribe was secondary. Seeing Lu Ming rushing toward them, the members of the Dark Ice tribe looked gloomy. Kill him! The genius of the Dark Ice tribe who was fighting with Bing Qing shouted. Immediately, two prodigies from the Dark Ice clan dashed toward Lu Ming at an alarming speed. Very soon, they were near Lu Ming. Their cold sabers slashed toward Lu Ming. Whoosh! Whoosh! Lu Ming waved his long spear and attacked. Clang! Clang! There were two consecutive booming sounds and Lu Ming felt a gush of powerful energy surging toward him. His figure retreated slightly. These two are so strong. Lu Ming was surprised. Even if they were not as strong as Lu Shangkai, they were not far behind. Kill! The two geniuses of the Dark Ice tribe shouted and continued to attack Lu Ming violently. Ice chain! Lu Ming did not want to fight with them. He used the ice chain directly. Clang! Clang! The opponent's saber slashed at the ice chains, but it was blocked by the ice chains. In the next moment, the two youths of the Dark Ice tribe were shocked. They felt a strong chill coming from the ice chain. They had cultivated the extreme cold divine power and were naturally not afraid of the cold. However, this chill made them shudder. Furthermore, a layer of ice immediately condensed on their blades and rapidly spread towards their bodies. How is this possible? The two of them were shocked. They kept using their divine power to resist the chill. However, Lu Ming controlled the ice chain with all his strength and whipped it toward the two of them. The two of them tried their best to resist. Although they managed to block a few moves, their bodies were gradually frozen and their movements became slower. Kill! Lu Ming waved his long spear and stabbed it twice. The two geniuses of the Dark Ice Tribe were frozen. Even if they wanted to dodge, it was too late. They were pierced through by Lu Ming's long spear and died on the spot. Lu Ming rushed toward the top of the mountain. Great! Bing Qing was overjoyed. The young man from the Dark Ice Tribe who was fighting with Bing Qing looked terrible. The two young men from the Dark Ice Tribe who had been killed by Lu Ming were two of the top geniuses of the Dark Ice Tribe. It was a great loss for them to be killed by Lu Ming. It's too late. He can't stop them even if he goes now. The young man from the Dark Ice Tribe shouted coldly. The geniuses of the Dark Ice Tribe were about to reach the top of the mountain. Lu Ming sped up but was still a step behind. When he neared the top of the mountain, he saw a huge ice platform on the top of the mountain. The ice platform was glowing and a fist-sized rock was suspended in the air above the ice platform. The stone was snow-white and looked like a beautiful jade. Ice Jade Chilling Heart. Lu Ming's heart jumped. It was very likely to be the Ice Jade Chilling Heart. Ha ha ha, I found it. It belongs to my tribe. The Dark Ice Tribe will definitely rise. We'll destroy the Ice Spirit Tribe and become the overlord of the Qin Tian Star area. The young man from the Dark Ice Tribe was overjoyed. Immediately, several young men from the Dark Ice Tribe rushed toward the Ice Jade Chilling Heart. However, they had to step onto the ice platform first if they wanted to get the Ice Jade Chilling Heart. The ice platform was huge and round, with a diameter of 1,000 meters. Something amazing happened. The moment the young men from the Dark Ice Tribe stepped onto the ice platform, their bodies froze. Then, a layer of ice crystals appeared on their bodies and covered them. The young men of the Dark Ice Tribe were frozen like statues, motionless. Their faces were still full of shock. The rest of the heavenly talents from the Dark Ice Tribe gasped and stopped in their tracks. Whoosh! Lu Ming flashed a few times and appeared on the other side of the ice platform. He also stopped and did not rush up. The ice platform contained a terrifying chill. As soon as they stepped onto it, they were frozen. The young men from the Dark Ice Tribe were experts. Two of them were even at the LV4 True God realm, which was comparable to an high. However, they were frozen within a few seconds. Chapter 2744. The ice platform contained a terrifying chill. Even an expert who controlled cold divine power could not withstand it. This made the Dark Ice Tribe and Lu Ming stop in their tracks. Why aren't you going up? Take the Ice Jade Frozen Heart? Shouted the young genius of the Dark Ice Clan who was fighting against Bing Qing. They couldn't see what was happening on the ice platform from where they were standing. There's a terrifying ice platform here. And Kong and Ling have been frozen. They're probably dead. A young man from the Dark Ice Tribe replied. What? The young man from the Dark Ice Tribe who was fighting with Bing Qing was called Lu. His expression changed when he heard that. After exchanging a few blows with Bing Qing, he left Bing Qing and rushed to the top of the mountain. Bing Qing followed him to the top of the mountain. When they arrived at the top of the mountain, they saw the ice platform and the scene on it. Their expressions changed as well. You want the Ice Jade Frozen Heart? Looks like you can't get it. Bing Qing sneered. We can't get it. You can't get it either. Lu replied with a cold face. Really? Bing Qing sneered. His body flashed and he rushed to the ice platform. Lu Ming was surprised but he did not stop him. Since Bing Qing had seen the two frozen geniuses and dared to rush up, he must have some confidence. Whoosh! Bing Qing stood on the ice platform. However, as soon as he stepped on the ice platform, a layer of ice crystals appeared on his body, trying to freeze him. Holy ice armor! Shouted Bing Qing. His body started to shine, and an armor appeared. It was a snow-white armor that looked like it was made of ice. As soon as it appeared, it covered Bing Qing and blocked the terrifying chill on the ice platform. Holy ice armor, the treasure of the Ice Soul Tribe. Holy ice armor! Lu shouted angrily. His face was gloomy. Then, He moved and rushed to the ice platform. In the next moment, he also landed on the ice platform. The moment he landed on the ice platform, his body was also covered by a layer of ice crystals. Ice battle armor. An undercurrent growled, and a battle suit appeared on his body, enveloping him and blocking the cold outside. The Dark Ice Tribe and the Ice Soul Tribe had come prepared. They had brought precious treasures that were controlled by Enlu and Bing Qing. The two of them blocked the chill outside and looked at each other with cold eyes. Then, they stepped out and walked towards the center of the ice platform. Dong, dong, dong. It was as if the two of them were carrying a mountain on their backs. Their footsteps were heavy as they walked forward step by step. Every step they took caused the ice platform to rumble violently. The members of the Dark Ice Race and Lu Ming watched with serious expressions. Strangely enough, the desolate beasts on the mountain peak did not rush up to attack them. It was very peaceful. As for Lu Shangkai and company, they were gathered together to defend against the desolate beasts. There were not many casualties. On the ice platform, Bing Qing and Enlu were moving slower and slower. A layer of ice had appeared on their battle suits and armors. Obviously, the closer they were to the center of the ice platform, the colder it became. Even their battle armors could not withstand the cold. However, the two of them did not give up. They continued to move forward. However, it took them a few minutes to take another step. In the end, they could barely move. The layer of ice on their battle suits and armors became thicker and thicker. Crack, crack. Suddenly, two cracks appeared on Bing Qing's armor and Enlu's armor at the same time. Their battle armors were damaged by the cold. Their expressions changed drastically. Although they were unwilling, they did not dare to move forward. They had a feeling that once they moved forward, their battle suits and armors would be broken and they would die on the ice platform. The two of them stepped back and quickly retreated out of the ice platform. Then, they used their divine power to shake off the layer of ice on their bodies. Only then did they let out a long breath. It was as if they had gone through a great battle on the ice platform. The two of them had used up a lot of their divine power. They immediately took out a pile of divine crystals and began to recover. After a while, the two of them recovered a little. I didn't expect the ice platform to be so terrifying. We can't get the heart of the ice jade. Bing Qing sighed. She was unwilling to give up. On the other side, Enlu and the other members of the Dark Ice Tribe were also unwilling to give up. The heart of the ice jade was so close, but they could not get it. They were also unwilling to give up. It seems that the Ice Spirit Tribe's efforts to get the heart of the ice jade are in vain. Enlu looked at Bing Qing and sneered. Even without the heart of the ice jade, the Ice Spirit Tribe is still one of the strongest tribes in the Qin Tian Starfield. However, the Dark Ice Tribe can only hide in the dark and struggle at death's door. Bing Qing sneered. This caused Enlu's expression to turn extremely ugly. Unfortunately, this was the truth. Although the Dark Ice Tribe had some talents in recent years, their overall strength was far inferior to the Ice Spirit Tribe. They could only hide in the dark and wait for an opportunity to strike. Ninth Young Lord, maybe I can give it a try. Lu Ming suddenly sent a message to Bing Qing. You want to give it a try? Bing Qing was shocked. However, she immediately thought of Lu Ming's strange chain. Lu Ming's ice chain was shockingly cold. Even she felt terrified. It was extremely strange. Maybe I can let him give it a try. A thought flashed through Bing Qing's mind. She then said, the ice jade heart is extremely cold. It is impossible to store it in a storage ring. It will freeze the storage ring and destroy it. It requires a special tool to store it. After that, a jade box appeared in Bing Qing's hand. The jade box was red and emitted a blazing aura. Mysterious runes were engraved on the jade box. Take this jade box. If you can get the heart of the ice jade, you can store it in this jade box. It can isolate the cold aura of the heart of the ice jade. Bing Qing said. Okay. Lu Ming nodded. He could not help but think that the heart of the ice jade could freeze a storage ring. It was similar to the cold liquid. After taking the jade box, Lu Ming stepped forward and stepped onto the ice platform. What does that kid want to do? Does he want to get onto the ice platform? Ridiculous. Even Enlu and the Ice Spirit Tribe couldn't get onto the platform. He wants to get onto the platform? He must be dreaming. I guess the Ice Spirit Tribe can't get the heart of the ice jade and is unwilling to give up. It's a pity that this kid will lose his life. Some people from the Dark Ice Tribe saw Lu Ming walking towards the ice platform and sneered. They did not believe that Lu Ming could get the heart of the ice jade. And Lu's eyes flashed, but he did not stop them. He also thought that Lu Ming could not get the heart of the ice jade. He had brought the Dark Ice Tribe's treasure, the ice armor, to protect himself. However, it could not withstand the cold aura of the ice platform. How could Lu Ming withstand it? Chapter 2745. As soon as Lu Ming landed on the ice platform, he felt a bone-piercing coldness enveloping his body. The coldness was so strong that Lu Ming was shocked. Lu Ming immediately circulated his absolute frost divine power to resist the coldness. However, a layer of ice crystals still appeared on his body and slowly covered his entire body. This lad has cultivated the absolute frost divine power. However, even the absolute frost divine power can't resist the coldness of the ice platform. And Lu said coldly. The divine power that he had cultivated was not any weaker than the absolute frost divine power. However, it still could not resist the coldness of the ice platform. Ice chain. Lu Ming made a mental command and ice chains appeared one after another. Lu Ming did not use the ice chain that had refined the cold liquid. Instead, he used the other 8 ice chains. He wanted to see if the other 8 ice chains could resist the coldness of the ice platform. The 8 ice chains danced in the air and gathered together to encircle Lu Ming. It's a secret skill of the ice attribute. And Lu and the other sky prides from the Dark Ice Tribe were surprised. Trying to resist the coldness of the ice platform with a secret skill of the ice attribute? Dream on. And Lu said disdainfully. Sure enough, as soon as Undercurrent's voice fell, the 8 ice chains that enveloped Lu Ming were immediately frozen and covered in a thick layer of ice. Then, cracking sounds could be heard. Following that, the 8 ice chains shattered together, turning into fragments and disappearing. Ho ho, I knew it. It's impossible to resist the coldness of the ice platform. You're overestimating yourself. And Lu sneered. Lu Ming ignored An Lu's voice. He had expected that the 8 ice chains would not be able to resist the coldness of the ice platform. In the end, he could only rely on the ice chain that had refined the cold liquid. With a thought, the chain flew out and circled around Lu Ming, trapping him within. It's the same trick again. This lad is still unwilling to give up. Ridiculous. He has already proven that it's useless. Why is he still using it? What an idiot. A few young men from the Dark Ice Tribe mocked Lu Ming. Lu Ming was from the Ice Spirit Tribe. Mocking Lu Ming was the same as mocking the Ice Spirit Tribe. They felt good about it. However, in the next moment, their voices stopped abruptly. Because this time, it was completely different from before. This time, there was no layer of ice on the chains around Lu Ming. The chains were wriggling slowly, showing no signs of being frozen. What's going on? Some young men from the Dark Ice Clan were dumbfounded. Dong, dong, dong. Following that, Lu Ming stepped out. His footsteps were extremely fast, and he took more than 10 steps consecutively. As expected, this ice chain is able to withstand the cold from the outside world. Joy appeared in Lu Ming's eyes. The ice shackles enveloped him, completely blocking the cold from the outside world. He himself couldn't feel the slightest bit of coldness. There was not the slightest bit of coldness. Dong, dong. Lu Ming continued to step forward. Step by step, he didn't stop at all. Soon, he had taken a few hundred steps. The distance he had covered was even further than Bing Qing and Undercurrent. What's going on? How is that possible? How is this possible? Why isn't that kid afraid of the chill on the ice platform? It's just a secret technique. How can it block the chill on the ice platform? The people from the Dark Ice Clan opened their eyes wide in disbelief. Undercurrent, in particular, was fuming with anger. Just a moment ago, he was still mocking Lu Ming, saying that Lu Ming was overestimating himself. But now, Lu Ming had walked further than him. This was a slap to his face. Bing Qing's eyes lit up. It was beyond her expectation that Lu Ming could walk so far. She had a glimmer of hope that Lu Ming could get the ice jade frozen heart. Lu Ming didn't stop. He continued to walk step by step. After a while, Lu Ming finally arrived at the center of the ice platform. The ice jade frozen heart was right above his head. Swoosh! Lu Ming waved his hand. The ice shackles flew out and wrapped around the ice jade frozen heart. As soon as the ice jade frozen heart was wrapped around, Lu Ming felt a terrifying chill coming from the ice shackles. Fortunately, The ice shackles had refined the ball of cold liquid. Otherwise, it wouldn't be able to block the chill. But now, it was blocked by Lu Ming. Come in. Lu Ming took out the crimson jade box and controlled the ice shackles. With a pull, the ice jade frozen heart was slowly pulled towards the jade box. Darn it! How is this possible? The people from the Dark Ice tribe roared. Their eyes were red with envy. Ha ha ha! Bing Qing laughed loudly. He didn't expect that inviting Lu Ming and the others would be of such great use. The reason why the Ice Spirit tribe had invited the elites of the Qin Heaven 13 sects was so that the elites of the Qin Heaven 13 sects could help them clear desolate beasts or deal with other dangers. As for obtaining the Ice Jade Frozen Heart, they still had to rely on the elites of the Ice Spirit tribe. He never expected that Lu Ming would be able to obtain the Ice Jade Frozen Heart when the Ice Spirit tribe couldn't. Clang! In the end, the Ice Jade Chilling Heart successfully entered the Scarlet Jade Box. Lu Ming immediately closed the Jade Box, and the runic light on the Jade Box formed an array, sealing the Ice Jade Chilling Heart inside. The coldness on the Ice Jade Chilling Heart immediately disappeared, and the coldness on the ice platform was greatly reduced. Rumble! At this moment, the entire ice platform started to shake violently. Boom! In the end, the entire ice platform exploded with a loud bang, sending rubble flying everywhere. That is, at the moment when the ice platform exploded, Lu Ming saw rocks the size of a human head flying out from under the ice platform. These rocks were circular and emitted faint moonlight. They were like bright moons. Cold moon rocks. Lu Ming was overjoyed. These rocks were exactly the same as the legendary cold moon rocks. There were cold moon rocks under the ice platform. Lu Ming scanned the area and saw 6 of them. Swoosh! In a flash, Lu Ming pounced towards the cold moon rocks. Kill that brat and get the Ice Jade Frozen Heart. And Lu bellowed and dashed toward Lu Ming. At the same time, the rest of the people from the Dark Ice tribe also dashed towards Lu Ming. Don't even think about it. Bing Qing had her eyes on Enlu and the others. As soon as Enlu dashed out, Bing Qing dashed towards Enlu. A chilling sword radiance slashed towards Enlu. The two of them engaged in an intense battle. As for Lu Ming, in a flash, he grabbed a cold moon rock. The cold moon rock was different from the Ice Jade Frozen Heart. It was warm to the touch and there was no bone-chilling coldness. After grabbing the cold moon rock, Lu Ming kept it in his storage ring and grabbed the other cold moon rocks. In an instant, 3 cold moon rocks were in Lu Ming's storage ring. At this moment, the people from the Dark Ice tribe arrived. Brat! Hand over the Ice Jade Frozen Heart. Kill! More than 10 people from the Dark Ice tribe attacked Lu Ming at the same time like a storm. Chapter 2746. The Dark Ice tribe's experts attacked Lu Ming at the same time. Their attacks were powerful. Get lost! Lu Ming shouted. The ice chain swept out to block the attacks, while he pounced on the next cold moon stone. Clang! 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 The attacks of the prodigies from the Dark Ice tribe all landed on the ice chain. They were all blocked by the ice chain. Moreover, the ice chain's terrible coldness spread toward them. The Dark Ice tribe's geniuses' faces changed and they retreated quickly. A layer of frost appeared on their bodies, making them shiver. There were even a few people with the weakest cultivation who were directly frozen into popsicles. Then with a bang, they exploded and died on the spot. The Dark Ice tribe's young men were shocked and did not dare to move forward. Lu Ming did not care about them. He was focused on the cold moon stones. Xiao Chen's figure flashed as he collected the last 3 cold moon stones. Lu Ming collected all 6 cold moon stones. Lu Ming was overjoyed. This trip was worth it. Not only did he get the 6 cold moon stones, but he also refined the cold liquid. Lu Ming had a feeling that the cold liquid was not to be underestimated. It was definitely more valuable than the 6 cold moon stones. 9th young master. We have the Ice Jade Chilling Heart. Let's go! Lu Ming shouted to Bing Qing. You want to leave? Hand over the Ice Jade Chilling Heart, or none of you will leave. And Lu roared. His face was ferocious and he attacked Bing Qing fiercely. Bing Qing could not get away. Do you think you can keep us here? I'm afraid you're not good enough. Lu Ming sneered. He manipulated the ice chain and flew toward the undercurrent, sweeping toward it. Get lost! And Lu shouted and slashed at the ice chain with his battle saber. Clang! Clang! Although the ice chains were deflected by undercurrent after a few consecutive collisions, the terrifying chill on them still spread towards undercurrent, causing his body to stiffen slightly. His strength was on par with Bing Qing's to begin with. As his body stiffened, Bing Qing took advantage of the opportunity. Her sword flashed and left a sword wound on his body. Dark Current's expression changed drastically as he retreated. However, Lu Ming controlled the ice shackles to sweep towards Dark Current. Lu Ming's current cultivation base was still a little weak after all. He couldn't exert the power of the cold ice chains. He also couldn't fully exert the power of the cold liquid. If his cultivation base could reach the true God realm, defeating Lu wouldn't be a problem. But even now, the chill of the ice shackles still had a great effect on undercurrent, causing his body to stiffen and his movements to become slower and slower. If it was just Lu Ming alone, Lu would have been able to violently attack and defeat Lu Ming. But now, he had another opponent. Bing Qing and Lu Ming cooperated and seized the opportunity to attack. Lu couldn't resist and was hit several times. Although he managed to avoid being hit, he was still heavily injured. He vomited blood and retreated. Damn it, it's all because of this brat. Lu was filled with hatred as he glared at Lu Ming. He then unwillingly roared, "Retreat!" After saying that, Lu turned around and fled. The other members of the Dark Ice tribe also followed Lu, hastily fleeing in another direction. Bing Qing's eyes twinkled, but she didn't chase after them. The most important thing was the ice jade chilling heart. Furthermore, with Lu's strength, if he wanted to escape, even if he chased after him, he wouldn't be able to stop him. Ninth young master, the ice jade chilling heart is for you. Lu Ming took out the jade box and handed it to Bing Qing. Although he was also very interested in the ice jade chilling heart, he knew that this kind of treasure wasn't something he could get his hands on right now. If he didn't return the ice jade chilling heart, he wouldn't be able to leave this place. The ice soul race wouldn't let him off. It wasn't worth offending a large race like the ice soul race for a treasure. And if he returned the ice jade chilling heart, he would also gain the friendship of the ice soul race. That was even more useful to Lu Ming. Lu Ming, thank you. From now on, you're a friend of my ice soul race. Bing Qing was overjoyed. She carefully put away the jade box with a smile on her face. Then let's go back, said Lu Ming. All right, let's go. Bing Qing nodded and rushed down the mountain with Lu Ming. They charged toward Lu Xueqi and the others. With Lu Ming and Bing Qing's help, their strength had greatly increased.
They quickly slaughtered their way down the mountain and rushed back in the direction they had come from.
Roar! They hadn't run far when an earth-shattering roar came from behind them. It was a dragon's roar. From afar, they saw an ice dragon soaring into the sky, roaring continuously. It was filled with terrifying killing intent. The ice dragon is awake? How is that possible? Someone exclaimed, his face pale. Didn't they say that the ice dragon would sleep for at least half a month? It's the Dark Ice Race. Those lunatics, run! Bing Qing shouted. It wasn't hard to guess that it was the Dark Ice Race's doing. The Dark Ice Race must have attacked the ice dragon and awakened it. They didn't want Bing Qing and the others to take the ice jade chilling heart away. Quick! Everyone flew with all their might, pushing their speed to the limit. Like streaks of lightning, they swept across the sky. Behind them, the ice dragon kept roaring and circling in the sky. Then, it looked in the direction of Lu Ming and the others. It twisted its body and chased after Lu Ming and the others. Oh no! We're doomed. Many people's faces changed drastically. The ice dragon was in the heavenly god realm. It could kill them with one slap. The ice dragon was poisoned not long ago and has just woken up. It's definitely not at its peak, Bing Qing said.
However, the others' faces didn't turn for the better.
The ice dragon was in the heavenly god realm. Even if it wasn't at its peak, it wasn't something that they could fight against. However, the ice dragon was indeed not at its peak. It wasn't as fast as they had imagined. Although it was closing the distance between them, it didn't catch up with them immediately. The two parties, one chasing and the other fleeing, quickly flew towards their original destination. However, although the ice dragon didn't catch up with them immediately, the distance between them was slowly closing. A few days later, the distance between them was less than 10,000 miles. At this rate, it wouldn't be long before the ice dragon caught up with them. Ninth young lord, you guys go first. I'll delay the ice dragon. At this moment, A young man from the ice spirit race shouted. Count me in. I'll go too. A few young men from the ice spirit race said, their eyes filled with determination. All of you. Bing Qing's eyes flashed with pain. If these young men from the ice spirit race were to delay the ice dragon, they would definitely die. Ninth young lord, Bing Yu's heart is more important. The rise of the ice spirit race is more important. Sacrificing our lives is nothing. A young man from the ice spirit race shouted. All right, all of you go. From now on your family is my family. Bing Qing said. Thank you, ninth young lord. Chapter 27:47. The 11 of them spread out and distanced themselves from each other. This way, they would not be killed by the ice dragon in one move. Spreading out would buy them more time. Let's go. Bing Qing roared as he increased his speed. Not long after, they heard the ice dragons roar from behind. However, after this delay, the distance between them had increased to more than 100,000 miles when the ice dragon chased after them again. Just like that, another 7 or 8 days passed. They were getting closer and closer to the exit they had come from. However, the ice dragon was relentless in his pursuit and the distance between them was getting smaller. If this continued, they would probably be caught before they even reached the exit. Ninth young master, let's delay the ice dragon. Let me go. Another youth from the ice spirit race volunteered. Lu Ming sighed inwardly. No wonder the ice spirit race could become one of the strongest races in the Qin Tian star field. They were too united. This kind of selfless behavior would never happen in the Qin Tian 13 sects. No need. I have a plan. Now that we have the ice jade chilling heart, we can use the ice phoenixes to delay the ice dragon. Bing Qing waved his hand as his eyes glowed with wisdom. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. That was indeed the case. They were not far from where the ice phoenixes lived. If the ice dragon did not chase after them, they would definitely choose to go around the ice phoenixes. But now, Bing Qing planned to rush to the ice phoenix's residence. They did not change their direction and rushed directly to the ice phoenix's residence. Soon, they arrived at the ice phoenix's residence. Ga. Cries rang out as huge figures rushed out from the ice mountains. They were the ice phoenixes. There were 9 of them. The 9 ice phoenixes stared coldly at Lu Ming and the others. They flapped their wings and flew toward Lu Ming and the others. Come. Bing Qing flew at the front and took out the red jade box. When the ice phoenixes approached, he suddenly opened the jade box and revealed the ice jade chilling heart. A wave of cold air immediately filled the air. As soon as the 9 ice phoenixes saw the ice jade chilling heart, they began to cry incessantly, and fear appeared on their faces as they forcibly stopped in their tracks. Go. Bing Qing hurriedly closed the jade box. Everyone rushed over. The 9 ice phoenixes didn't dare to block them. They could only watch as Lu Ming and the others rushed past. After passing the ice phoenixes, they continued to fly. Soon, they heard the roars of ice dragons and ice phoenixes behind them, as well as the rumbling of collisions. The ice phoenix and the ice dragon were indeed in conflict. At this point, they were very close to the exit. Not long after, they returned to the place where they first came in. Bing Qing immediately took out the statue and began to form seals. The statue floated in the air, emitting a dazzling radiance. After a while, a vortex appeared in the void. The exit had been opened. Roar! At that moment, a dragon's roar sounded from afar. The ice dragon had caught up to them again. Let's go, let's go! Bing Qing roared. Go, go, go! Lu Xueqi and the others from the Mystic Academy were the first to rush into the vortex, followed by the others. Behind them, the dragon roars grew louder and louder. They could even see the huge figure of the ice dragon appear in their field of vision. However, it was fortunate that most of their people had already left. Lu Ming's figure flashed and rushed out of the vortex. Bing Qing quickly kept the statue and rushed out of the vortex. As Bing Qing rushed out of the vortex quickly disappeared. Roar! In the end, they could still hear a loud dragon's roar. Then, the light screen where the vortex had disappeared vibrated slightly. Huff, huff, huff. Everyone heaved a sigh of relief, and their hearts relaxed a little. They had escaped. Although they had lost some people, they had obtained the ice jade chilling heart. The people from the Ice Soul tribe were all smiles. Of course, there were some exceptions. They were the people from the Mystic Academy, especially Hu Ya and Lu Xueqi. During this trip, Lu Shangkai had been brutally beaten by Lu Ming. He had even been forced to kneel in front of everyone by Lu Ming. Such humiliation filled Lu Shangkai's heart with murderous intent whenever he thought about it. He swore to himself that he would find a chance to take revenge. Everyone, take a break and adjust your condition. I'm afraid we still have one more obstacle to pass. Bing Qing instructed. The people from the Ice Soul tribe were fine, but the others' faces changed when they heard this. They had already made it out. What obstacle was there to pass?
Ninth young lord, what do you mean?
Lu Shangkai asked with a sullen face. The mission this time was more dangerous than he had imagined. Moreover, he had been greatly humiliated. He was already in a bad mood. Now that he heard that there would be another obstacle, his face turned even uglier. Everyone, you know about the Flaming Tribe, right? Bing Qing asked. Of course. Everyone in the Qin Tian Star Zone knows about the Flaming Tribe. Lu Shangkai said. You should also know that the Flaming Tribe and my Ice Soul Tribe have been enemies for generations. My Ice Soul Tribe wants the Ice Jade Chilling Heart, but the Flaming Tribe doesn't want it. Therefore, every time my Ice Soul Tribe sends people into the Ancestral Land, the Flaming Tribe will send people to stop us. This time, before we entered, we didn't encounter the Scarlet Flame Tribe's obstruction. It's very likely that they were waiting for us to come out so that they could wait for us to exhaust ourselves. If I'm not wrong, the Scarlet Flame Tribe's people are very likely lying in ambush on the way out. Bing Qing said. Hearing Bing Qing's words, many people's faces turned gloomy. Next, they would have to rush out of the encirclement of the Flaming Tribe to be truly out of danger. The only good news was that only those under 10,000 years old could enter this path. If the Flaming Tribe wanted to enter, only those under 10,000 years old could enter. Those of the same generation as them wouldn't have a high cultivation. It shouldn't be too difficult for them to rush out of the encirclement. Immediately, everyone found a place to sit down cross-legged. They took out divine gems to refine and adjust to their best condition. Lu Ming also took out some divine gems to recover. In fact, he had the quantifying formula, which stored a large amount of divine power. He was always in peak condition. Of course, he couldn't expose the quantifying formula. Therefore, he had to put on an act. A day later, everyone had recovered to their best condition. Their divine power was full. Let's go. Bing Qing led the way out. The others followed. They raised their attention to the maximum, constantly paying attention to their surroundings. Soon, they were halfway out without encountering any accidents. However, they didn't dare to be careless. Be careful. All of a sudden, Bing Qing roared. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Then, silhouettes flashed from the huge rocks around them. Attacks were launched one after another at them. Luckily, they were constantly paying attention to their surroundings. With Bing Qing's reminder, everyone used all kinds of defensive measures to defend their surroundings, blocking the attacks from all directions. Chapter 2748. After Lu Ming and the group blocked all the attacks from the surroundings, figures flashed and a large group of figures appeared, surrounding them. In front of them was a group of red-skinned youths, each of them emitting a blazing aura. The Flaming Flame Race. Many people's faces turned serious. It was indeed the Flaming Flame Race, and their numbers were shocking. There were actually 70 to 80 of them. One had to know that only people under 10,000 years old could enter this place. The number of people from the Flaming Flame Race had reached 70 to 80, which showed how strong they were. Behind Lu Ming and the others were not from the Flaming Flame Race, but there were still more than 70 of them. These people were from different races. Invincible Kenzo and the Immeasurable Sacred Land. A youth from the Mystic Academy exclaimed. The others' hearts sank. They all recognized that these youths were from different races. Like them, they were from the other 7 sects of the Qin Tian 13 sects. Moreover, the Invincible Kenzo and the Immeasurable Sacred Land's prodigies had also come. Everyone's hearts sank. The difference in strength between the two sides was too great. They had fought a few battles in the Ice Soul Race's ancestral land and had lost some battle power. Originally, they had less than 100 people, but after losing some, they were only left with 60 or so people. The other side had about 150 people, which was more than twice their number. Bing Qing, hand over all your interspatial rings, and I'll let you go. A burly prodigy from the Flaming Flame Race sneered. His body was like a burning piece of metal, emitting wisps of divine fire. Yensen, Come and take it yourself if you can, Bing Qing said coldly, and the cold aura on her body grew stronger. The Ice Soul race had spent so many years to obtain the Ice Jade Heart, so how could she hand it over? If you don't hand it over, did you really get the Ice Jade Heart? Today, none of you will leave. Attack! The tall and sturdy Flamekin youth, Yen Sen, waved his hand and gave the order. Kill! Kill! The prodigies of the Flaming Tribe, Invincible Kenzo, and other sects roared.
Their auras soared as they charged towards Lu Ming and the others.
Gather together and charge forward. As long as we charge out of this path, we'll be saved. Bing Qing roared. She took the lead and charged toward the Flame Tribe. Streaks of sword chi shot out from Bing Qing's hands. They were extremely cold, and wherever they passed, layers of frost appeared in the air. Child's play, transform for me. Yen Sen shouted and rushed towards Bing Qing. His whole body was covered in blazing flames, and the temperature of the space was rising rapidly. Boom! Boom! His fists were unceasingly punching out. His fists were like magma as they bombarded Bing Qing. The air was filled with sizzling sounds and violent explosions. Rings of blazing energy and ice-cold energy spread out in all directions. The two of them fought fiercely. Yen Sen's battle strength was also extremely terrifying. He was evenly matched with Bing Qing. At the same time, Lu Ming and the others also suffered a terrifying attack. Ah! Ah! Several blood-curdling screams rang out. The difference in strength between the two sides was too great. As soon as they exchanged blows, Lu Ming and the others suffered heavy injuries. A few of them were killed. Lu Ming and the others' formation was also blocked. Clang! The sound of a sword resonated through the sky. A black-robed youth with a cold expression and terrifying battle strength slashed out with his sword. A Sky Pride of the Ice Soul tribe was killed. This was a Sky Pride of the Invincible Kenzo. His strength was slightly stronger than Lu Shankai's. On the other side, a white-robed youth was very elegant. However, his battle strength was also terrifying. He also killed a Sky Pride of the Ice Soul tribe. This person was from the immeasurable sacred ground. The most shocking thing was that there were a few prodigies from the Flaming Flame tribe who were as powerful as Lu Shankai. Some of them were even more powerful than Lu Shankai. Under the leadership of these people, Lu Ming and the rest retreated in defeat and people were constantly killed. Boom! An expert from the Flame tribe punched out and turned a disciple from the Kongxian school into ashes. There were a total of 10 Sky Prides from the Kongxian school. None of them had died before. Now, this was the first one to die. We can't go on like this. We'll leave in batches. Come with me. Lu Ming roared. Lu Ming could no longer care about the Ice Soul tribe. He led the people from the Kongxian school and madly charged to the side. Lu Ming rushed to the front. He exploded with all his strength and stabbed out with his long spear. 2 young men from the Flame tribe were killed by Lu Ming. The other young men from the Flame tribe coughed up blood and retreated. Kid, you're courting death. A young expert from the Flame tribe fixed his eyes on Lu Ming and attacked Lu Ming. He was wearing a pair of red gloves. He threw out a few punches. The scorching fist force was aimed at Lu Ming. Before the fist force arrived, everyone felt as if their bodies were about to burn. Lu Ming's long spear swept out and collided with the young man. However, the result was that Lu Ming was forced to retreat a few steps. What a strong battle strength! Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. The young man from the Flame tribe was no weaker than Lu Shankai. In a head-on collision, Lu Ming was at a disadvantage. Kid, how dare you kill someone from the Flame tribe? Die! The young man from the Flame tribe said ferociously and continued to attack Lu Ming. Lu Ming did his best to fight the young man. And Hai and the others formed a circle to block the attacks from all directions. However, the situation was still precarious. Boom! 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 Lu Ming and the young man from the Flame tribe exchanged more than a dozen blows. In the end, Lu Ming was forced to retreat. He was completely suppressed. Turn into ashes, brat! The young man from the Flame tribe shouted. Is that so? At this moment, Lu Ming said coldly. Then, an ice chain flew out from his body and wrapped around the young man. It's just a chain. Melt it. The young man from the Flame tribe said coldly. He did not care about the ice chain at all. He threw out a punch and a scorching flame blasted towards the ice chain. He wanted to melt the ice chain. However, the ice shackles didn't seem to be affected at all. This is The young man from the Flame tribe was shocked. He did not expect that his fist force would have no effect on the ice chain. While he was stunned, the ice chain had already wrapped around him and quickly tightened. Melt! The young man from the Flame tribe shouted. His body was like a furnace. The temperature was shockingly high. He wanted to melt the ice chain. However, the ice chain was not affected at all. It quickly tightened. The terrifying coldness extinguished the young man's flame. Then, a layer of ice covered the young man from the Flame tribe. Impossible! No, no! The young man from the Flame tribe shouted in horror. He did not expect that Lu Ming could control such terrifying ice. It could even freeze his flame. You're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.